Be cool, be kind, be classy. The cupcakes so sweet and sexy. Have fun and enjoy the journey. Or just have a good attorney. No big whoop, no biggie. She lives near New York City. And not just a YouTube show. When you know, you better grab a straw. Learn about the law. It's cool here in the shade. Sipping motions and lemonade. Cool heads will prevail. Kindness will never fail. Be classy and vastly wise. Oh, Melanie Little is going live. Oh no, where is Melanie? Follow the island's melody. Is a concert within reach. No surprise, she's at Jones Beach. She heard some music far away. Captain Jack Stack Harbor Bay. He sings and his piano plays. Not all sounds are waterways. Speaking Yiddish and Latin, it's not just for Manhattan. It's for Goethe and Machegas. Ridiculous that insanus. Oy vey, Marcus. Proset, that's for schmucks. Be cool, be kind, be classy. My cupcakes are sweet and sassy. And not just a YouTube show. When you know, cool heads will prevail. Kindness will never fail. Be classy and vastly wise. Melanie Little is going live.
Hello. Hello. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Sunday fun day. How's everybody doing? I feel like I haven't seen you in so long, but I just saw you on Friday and we did a stream on, I had to even look it up what the stream was about. It was about Kelsey Fitzsimmons and it was about the Commonwealth's opposition to the SJC petition to overturn the judge's decision and let Kelsey back out on bail with other conditions. And since then, so many things have happened. So many things have happened. But, I had to take yesterday to breathe and also watch my Buffs, SCO Buffs, in a big upset against Iowa State. That was a great game. And all the students rushed the field afterwards. And that was awesome. SCO Buffs. Anybody watch that game? I don't know what's happening with your Patriots, but they were winning last time I checked. Is it over? There is, that banner was from Friday. Also, Bears Rain the Crush. Follow them on everything. So many things have happened. I don't even know what to talk about first, but I have a whole list of things, and not drama things, just things that have happened in the world of the cases that we're covering. The Patriots won. Oh, good. Now everyone can breathe even a little bit more. Breathe a little bit more, even. Okay. If Kelsey wins at the SJC, it goes back to the fact finder. I thought they were allowed to. Mass Dad says they don't like to act as fact finders. I thought they could review the bail petition de novo. That was what I understood from the law. But if I'm wrong on that, let me know. That's what I thought I read in their original petition. But I could be wrong. I'm willing to accept the fact that I might be mistaken about that. So we'll see. But if it goes back to the same judge, I don't see very much hope there. Yeah, Arkansas proud. Arkansas proud. So proud of our Buffs. Oh, look at H. Nix is in here. He's got Buff fan, another Buffs fan. We have Buff emojis for the members. Could you put some Buff emojis in the chat? Because I have something different put up I have something else up on my phone. Mastat says they can, but they generally prefer to send cases like this back to the trial judges. So can you, I have a question for you then, since we're talking right now directly and we don't have to email each other. Is Judge Dreckler the new judge on this? Or is Judge McCarthy Nyman going to come out of the closet and now all of a sudden take this case back again? I have questions. Judge Dreckler was the one who yelled at Bradel the other day for not being in court. And then after it was shown to him that there was an email from the clerk saying that that conference was going to be a phone conference, he backed off a bit. But then he wanted to try the case next week. So has it been reassigned to Dreckler permanently, or would it go back to McCarthy Nyman in Salem, fittingly, for the review of the bail? Because she's never going to give her bail. So that would be a big L, in my opinion. SCO Buffs. And RIP to Diane Keaton. I'm very sad about that. I didn't know if she was ill. There's been no cause of death released or anything. Not that it's any of our business, but I just want to say that Something's Gotta Give is one of my favorite movies of all time, with Diane Keaton and Jack Nicholson. When she starts dating her daughter's boyfriend, who is Jack Nicholson, that is such a great movie. I love it so much. And I'm very sad about Diane Keaton because she was only 79 years old. And the older I get, the younger 79 is. And I'm devastated about it. We're going to try and power through. And then after this, I'm going to go watch another Diane Keaton movie, I think. First Wives Club, another great one. Father of the Bride. Come on, Father of the Bride is such a classic. Such a classic. And of course, how do we forget The Godfather? She's Kay in The Godfather. You know when I always say, I love you with all of my heart? It's Michael talking to Kay on the phone. And she says, I love you, Michael. And he doesn't say anything back. And it's Clemenza's meatball scene. And they say, oh, Michael, tell the pretty girl you love her. I love you with all of my heart. If I don't see you soon, I'm going to die. That's where it's from. He was talking to Kay on the phone. Yes, Diane Keaton passed away yesterday at the tender age of 79. And it is sad, isn't it? I know. As Good as It Gets. Is that another one? Was she in that one too? Or is that Jack Nicholson? I don't know. I didn't go through her IMDb, but I was just thinking of it. How she always had such a quirky sense of fashion. She didn't really care what anybody had to say about her fashion. And she got probably skewered a lot by Joan Rivers when she was on the red carpet. And Julia Roberts is taken to wearing men's ties as part of her fashion look. And I got to say, I'm not really a fan of that. I don't know. I think that's an odd styling choice for Julia Roberts. But that's just me. She always had hats on too, right? Always had hats on. Yeah. A lot of weather here on the East Coast. A lot of flight delays. A lot of like some kind of nor'easter is supposed to be happening soon. But, sometimes they're off. So I don't really know. Yeah, As Good as It Gets is Jack Nicholson and Helen Hunt. Forget about that. Tonight we're talking about Diane Keaton for a couple of minutes anyway. But in a plot twist that maybe nobody could have predicted. Maybe no, who could have predicted this? You know who could have predicted this? Nobody. Aaron Spencer has announced that he is running for Sheriff of Lonoke County. Uh-huh. Oh, yes, he is. Oh, yeah, I'm here for it. This is the plot twist that I had no idea was coming, but I'm here for it. There's a movie that some people have pointed out to me called Walking Tall that may be similar to what is happening here. But for those of you who don't know who Aaron Spencer is, that is our first topic of the evening. Aaron Spencer, 36, he may be 37 now. He was 36 at the time of the incident in question that led to him wanting to become the Sheriff of Lonoke County. We're going to look at his campaign video that he put out just yesterday, because today, it was Friday, I guess. Today's Sunday, October 12th for posterity. Aaron Spencer, 36 years old, he may now be 37, is charged with murder in the second degree, a Class A felony, and felony with a firearm in connection with the October 8th, 2024 death of Michael Fosler, age 67. It is just 2 years. 2 years just passed, because if you're on or in the Facebook group, I think it's Justice for Aaron Spencer. Heather Spencer, Aaron's wife, who's been very vocal after the unconstitutional gag order was lifted by the Arkansas Supreme Court. Shout out to the Arkansas Supreme Court for getting it right. It's been 2 years. I mean, 1 year, only 1 year. I'm sorry. It's only 1 year. It's only 2025. It's been a year. And this case is going to trial in January. Okay. So for those of you who don't know who Aaron Spencer is, he's been charged with, as I said, the October 8th of 2024 death of a man named Michael Fosler, who was 67 years old. We did a deep dive into Michael Fosler. He had previously been the chief of police in a town in Indiana, Hamlet, Indiana, many, many, many years before. 67 years old. Apparently, he groomed Aaron Spencer's daughter. It's unclear how they met, if it was somehow on the internet or something. He was a neighbor or lived nearby, maybe even in the same town in Lonoke County, Arkansas. And Michael Fosler raped Aaron Spencer's 13-year-old daughter. Now, his 13-year-old daughter did not disclose right away. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it took her a month or so to disclose to, I think, a cousin. But as soon as she did disclose, the parents went to the police. And this Michael Fosler was charged with 43 felonies. 43 felonies for not only the things that he did to Aaron Spencer's 13-year-old daughter, but for the things that they found on his phone that may or may not have involved Aaron Spencer's daughter. That's not quite clear. But, oh shoot, I got to take this call, you guys. Hang on. Hold tight. I'll be right back. Take a break.
New York had an earthquake, a whopping 4.8 of magnitude. Just 4 lines in fiction, but it got me thinking how I didn't know what to do. This lack of preparedness is making me anxious, so what else is new? A solar eclipse or the apocalypse, and I still wouldn't turn on the news, 'cause que sera, sera. Just do whatever you want. If today is our last day, I hope we go out with a There's wildfires up north and they turn the sky orange. The whole thing looks like something from a movie. Felt like we were doomed. We just all carried on with our lives. Not sure what to do when you're feeling like Truman and nothing seems real. Don't know what it says, if bracing for the end is the most human I ever feel. 'Cause que sera, sera. Just do whatever you want. If today is our last day, I hope we go out with desert, baby, came a few months early. Somebody gave me a chance, like it was all part of some plan. 2, 3, then my parents picked me up from the woman who made me. Cried in the hospital and swore they raised me good, give me everything they could. Well, they kept the promise, flew me all the way to New York, where I grew up having everything I wanted and more. Couldn't shade the feeling maybe I was meant for something great. My mom told me all my life how much she prayed for me, so I felt like I was born to fill a prophecy. Put in everything that I'm supposed to be, go to waste. Now I'm a washed up, burnt out, gifted kid, just another shoulda, woulda, coulda been. Golden girl, worst pain in metal, wasted on wasted potential. When you're famous, don't forget about us. I'm not even a has-been, oh, I never was. I take living on a plateau, over living in my own shadow. I was born in the desert, baby, was a long road, but I didn't let it make me cold. No, I was always told that I didn't gain her accidentally. No, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. So when I met that boy, it felt like destiny. The universe wouldn't let me down, but I'm a cliche for believing when he said that he didn't mean it and you'll never do it again. Guess my destiny was a hospital bed. If Arizona could just see me now, I was supposed to make everyone proud. Now I'm a washed up, burnt out, gifted kid, just another shoulda, woulda, coulda been. Golden girl was painted metal, wasted on wasted potential. When you're famous, don't forget about us. I'm not even a has-been, 'cause I never was. I take living on a plateau, over living in my own shadow. I was born in the desert, baby. Why the hell would anybody save me? 'Cause I'm a washed up, burnt out, gifted kid, just another shoulda, woulda, coulda been. Golden girl is painted metal, wasted on her own potential. When you're famous, don't forget about us. I'm not even a has-been, 'cause I never was. I take living on a plateau, over living in my own This isn't the notebook, baby. Not home waiting for you to show up in the paper. You could build me a dream house, honey. Come into some money. We'll knock on your door 5 years later. So maybe I get nostalgic, but babe, when you call me, I warned you my goodbyes were for good. There's no big reveal in the third act. I'm not gonna come back. This isn't the notebook. We were crying on the couch when you told me we couldn't work it out. But you know me, I said to think it through before you talk like that, before you say something that you can't take back. And I swear I can still hear you say, I said, yeah, we'll get it right. Let me try again someday. But this isn't the notebook, baby. a joke. They know I'm down. They know I'm down. You're making me wanna call up your mama, ask you what time you were born. Tell me your star sign, baby, I swear I've never been this way before. 'Cause I'm a Virgo, Cancer rising. I guess that means that I've been doing my research, seeing that we work. I've been consulting with the planets. Don't totally understand it. I've manifested some kind of cosmic connection. So pull out your birth chart. My crystals are all charged. It shouldn't be that hard. Written in the stars.
Okay. All right, I'm back. I apologize for that, but you know, the kids got to come first. I'm a mother first, as always. And because of this weather situation, one of my kids is in a coastal hurricane flood zone, and there's a lot of stuff happening down there. So I had to take that call because, you know, when your kids call, you never know when you're going to be able to talk to them again. And what is up with Columbus Day all of a sudden not being a holiday for college students anymore? What is up with that? It's not apparently a holiday anymore. Sorry. I'm glad you were having a dance party. I do apologize, but that is the only music. I mean, well, not apologizing for the music, but apologizing that I took that long break because, you know, my kids come first. And then when the phone rings, you got to get it. So turned out being a longer call than I thought, but I hope you enjoyed it. That's Paris Ray and the Crush. One of my kids is in that band. Don't say which one. You don't need to dox them. But for those of you who are on Long Island, Paris Ray has been playing a bunch of gigs, so you can find them. You can find them if you follow Paris on the internet. All right, back to Aaron Spencer. I'm going to start over with the story of Aaron Spencer, and anybody who's late can just fast forward through the videos that we just watched. Okay, Aaron Spencer, 36 years old. He's a combat veteran, correct? Yes, he's a combat veteran. And what had happened was in June of 2024, Aaron Spencer's 13-year-old daughter was raped and groomed and essayed by this 67-year-old man from the same town named Michael Fosler. Michael Fosler had been a chief of police in Hamlet, Indiana, many years prior, maybe decades prior to this. And we did a deep dive into him and his family. His wife was very involved in the church. She was a church-going woman. She too passed away. After Aaron Spencer's 13-year-old daughter disclosed to a cousin, it was brought to the parents' attention that she had been raped by this man Fosler. And eventually, in July, when the parents went to the police, July of 24, this case is only a year old, Fosler was charged with 43 felonies having to do with the essay of the child and of the things that were found on his phone. We're not sure if it was CSAM relating to the child or other children, but 43 felonies. Michael Fosler was let out on $5,000 cash bail in front of a Lonoke County judge named Barbara Elmore. Remember that name, put a pin in it. Barbara Elmore let him out with $5,000 cash and a stay away order from the girl. Stay away from the girl. On September 4th of 2024, Fosler's charges were sealed. Okay, so we can't see them. Judge Elmore sealed them. And then on October 8th of 2024, Aaron Spencer and his wife wake up in the middle of the night to the sound of their daughter's dog barking. And Heather says to Aaron, could you go look in her room? Maybe she's sick or something, because that's weird that the dog would bark. Aaron Spencer goes into his daughter's room and his daughter is missing. They call 911. They explain to 911 dispatch that they have a stay away order against this Michael Fosler. They're asking the dispatch to send somebody over to Fosler's house to see if he has their daughter. And Aaron Spencer does what any father would do. He gets in his truck and he goes out to look for her. By the grace of God, he comes across Michael Fosler driving his truck with his daughter, with Aaron Spencer's daughter in the passenger seat. Something happens. He somehow runs the car off the road. He's able to get his daughter back, even though Fosler is attempting to run off with her. Somehow a shooting happens. Fosler's dead in a ditch. Spencer calls 911 and says, hey, remember that guy I told you that we have a stay order against? You might want to go check on his condition. Here's where he is. How did he get her out of the house? I don't know. I have so many questions. So what does the DA of Lonoke County, Arkansas do? They decide to charge Aaron Spencer with murder of Michael Fosler. And then who do you think arraigns Aaron Spencer? The same judge that let Fosler out on $5,000 bail, Barbara Elmore. I think she's the only one of two judges in the building. And then what had happened was, I don't think his daughter was going to come home alive that night. I really don't. I don't think that this man was going to let her go. She was the only witness in Michael Fosler's upcoming trial that was supposed to be held in December. I think December 4th, that name rings a bell, or that date rings a bell to me. The daughter was the only witness against him in his upcoming trial. And so Aaron Spencer is charged. Aaron Spencer's trial is supposed to start this coming January of 2026. Charges weren't brought against Aaron Spencer until November 27th of 2024. And by December 10th of 2024, 2 weeks later, Judge Barbara Elmore slaps a gag order on the case, preventing the defendant, Aaron Spencer, his family, and his attorneys from speaking publicly about the case at all. Any potential witnesses and law enforcement. Goes all the way up to the Arkansas Supreme Court. We watched the arguments of the Arkansas Supreme Court, and eventually they reversed that gag order, calling it unconstitutional, and they had a lot of not nice things to say about the judge. In fact, also suggesting that Barbara Elmore should be removed from this case, being that she's the reason Fosler was out of jail or out of custody in the first place. And that gag order was not vacated until June 20th of 2025. So a pretrial hearing is now scheduled in Aaron Spencer's case in Lonoke County for, I'm looking at my notes on it, December 17th of 2025. And the trial is set for January 26th to 30th of 2026. Here's what happened on Friday. Aaron Spencer has announced this. So remember, he has not had his trial yet. He's still on facing charges in this upcoming trial that is going to happen in January. But here is what he announced yesterday on his new Facebook page, which I will tell you what it's called after we watch the video. But check this out. What a day. This is a baller move.
Hello, Lonoke. My name is Aaron Spencer. Many of you know my story. I'm the father who acted to protect his daughter when the system failed. I'm also a husband, a combat veteran of the 82nd Airborne Division, a contractor, and a farmer. And through my own fight for justice, I have seen firsthand the failures in law enforcement and in our circuit court. And I refuse to stand by while others face these same failures. That's why I'm announcing my candidacy to run for Lonoke County Sheriff. This campaign isn't about me. It's about every parent, every neighbor, every family who deserves to feel safe in their homes and safe in their community. It's about restoring trust, where neighbors know law enforcement is on their side, and families know that they will not be left alone in a moment of need. Together, we can build a safer, stronger Lonoke County for every family. I'm Aaron Spencer, and I'm running for Sheriff of Lonoke County.
I love this so much. I love this so much. And you know what? We've only seen pictures of Aaron Spencer. And so, you know how you get in your head like a vision of how you think someone is going to sound, or a vision of what you think someone is going to be like, and then you hear them speak and it's completely different than what you thought. And I don't really know what I thought, but I didn't know or think that he is that much of a badass. Like I am in this. Somebody said, how can he run when he hasn't been convicted of anything? He hasn't been convicted of anything, so he can run. Steph asked, how can Aaron run for sheriff when he's awaiting trial? I've never heard of this before. I've never heard of it either, but I'm here for every minute of it. He hasn't been convicted of anything. And the primary, hold on, let's take a look at this Facebook page so that you guys can go join it if you are on Facebook. Let's see. The Facebook page is called Aaron Spencer for Lonoke County Sheriff. And it just started literally 2 days ago. It's already got 5,800 followers. And the intro is, let's build a sheriff's office you can trust. And then it says here, yesterday's post says, many of you have been asking how to get involved by volunteering, donating, or offering other support. Next week, I'll be sharing the details on how you can be part of this effort. I love this so much. In the meantime, the most powerful thing you can do is spread the word. Talk to your family, friends, and neighbors, especially those here in Lonoke County. Thank you for all your support and believing in a better future for our community. Aaron Spencer. And then he also had some really nice headshots taken that are also on the website. I think I'm living for this now. Now I think I'm living for this. And there it is. There's his Aaron Spencer for Lonoke County Sheriff headshot. I don't know. I love everything about this. Changing the narrative. You know, worrying about the safety in this county. This is interesting too, because the Spencers moved to Arkansas to take care of one of the Spencers' parents. I can't remember which one, from Florida. They were living in Florida and they came because one of their parents needed help because of an illness. And they, I think, were planning to move back to Florida, but now they're like, F that. F that. How about this? How about this? I'll run for sheriff. And according to my notes, I think the primary is in March. So that hopefully the trial will be over by then. He will be acquitted, as he should. And I'm here for every single minute of it. There's also some filings in his case that I want to take a look at with you. A motion in limine and a scheduling order. And yeah, Jess says, now that is someone you can trust to clean up the BS. There's I have extensive show notes underneath the video with a full-on summary of the case. And I also have the Give, Send, Go for Aaron Spencer and his family for legal fees and everything else, that all the expenses that they are incurring, therapy for their daughter and everything else. So please donate if you can. And also during one of the prior streams that I did on this show, we listened to a caller who had called into a TikToker who has a show. And she said that she was raped by Michael Fosler when she babysat for his kids when she was like, it was like in the 80s. And that the wife was in the room when this happened. And because Fosler was the chief of police in their town, they couldn't go to the police because they weren't going to do anything about it. And so what had happened was, this woman's, at the time she was a girl, she was a teenager, her parents or her mom reported her as a runaway and sent her to Arkansas to live with her dad. Okay. I'm getting the chills just remembering this. And then she told the TikToker or the TikToker that she was doing this interview with, that when Fosler's picture was in the paper or all over the news because of when he was killed by Aaron Spencer, she was like, holy mother of the traveling Mary. That's the guy that did it to me. And she said she was horrified to learn that Michael Fosler moved within walking distance of where she currently lives in Arkansas from Indiana. And that begs the question, how many other victims are there of Fosler? Because we know what we know about pedos, and they're not caught until they've abused at least 100 times. Did he follow her to Arkansas to keep her quiet? Was she the first? I have so many questions. I have so many questions. But it gives me the chills. Yeah, that was horrific. Is he already part of law enforcement? Well, he just talked about his background in the video. And I think he's a combat veteran. Did he have law enforcement experience? What did he say his experience was? Because I was listening to you. I was watching the chat. I don't know if he has law enforcement experience. Do you need to be sheriff? I don't know. But according to my notes, the primary is March 2nd of 2026. Anybody can run for sheriff. I thought so, Kraken Studio, but I didn't want to misspeak. So thank you. You don't need law enforcement security. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Because the current sheriff of Lonoke County, as you know, if you've been watching my previous streams on Lonoke County, you know about the women that were abused in the Lonoke County pokey and all of the things that were going on there. We've been through some lawsuits. The corruption may run deep in Lonoke County, and the current sheriff may or may not have been involved in some of it. He was named in that lawsuit, right? I didn't have time to go back and review like all the prior streams that I did or all my prior notes because, you know, we handle so many cases here in depth that it's hard to remember. But go back and catch up on some of those streams if you haven't seen it, because the corruption and the horrific things that have been going on in Lonoke County for decades may shock you. You want to play his video again? Sure, we can play his video again. It's not very long. Let me do that for you. Sure, I'm here for you. Let's play it again. Okay.
Hello, Lonoke.
Wait.
My name is Aaron Spencer.
Pause.
Many of you.
Pause.
My name. Hello, Lonoke.
Okay. One more time. It's only like 2 minutes long. Play.
Hello, Lonoke. My name is Aaron Spencer. Many of you know my story. I'm the father who acted to protect his daughter when the system failed. I'm also a husband, a combat veteran of the 82nd Airborne Division, a contractor, and a farmer. And through my own fight for justice, I have seen firsthand the failures in law enforcement and in our circuit court. And I refuse to stand by while others face these same failures. That's why I'm announcing my candidacy to run for Lonoke County Sheriff. This campaign isn't about me. It's about every parent, every neighbor, every family who deserves to feel safe in their homes and safe in their community. It's about restoring trust, where neighbors know law enforcement is on their side, and families know that they will not be left alone in a moment of need. Together, we can build a safer, stronger Lonoke County for every family. I'm Aaron Spencer, and I'm running for Sheriff of Lonoke County.
I love it. I love it. I usually don't do politics on this channel, like ever. Somebody actually wrote to me and said, would you have DeJuna Perkins or Juna Perkins on your channel? She's running for DA. And I'm like, yeah, I don't really, that's not my channel. That's not what I do. But I will promote Aaron Spencer for Lonoke County Sheriff. That I will do. Bananas Sluggy says, Staley is awful. That's Sheriff Staley, and needed to be voted out for a long time. Professor in mathematics and in science says, I'll stand by Aaron till the end. I hope everyone votes for this man. Ruby says, I'm genuinely proud of him for running. Wow. What a move. What a move is right. Roy Barefoot says, hey lady, happy Sunday to you. Happy Sunday to you, Roy Barefoot. I've been here since season 1 and season 2, but finally became a legit member. Welcome, Roy Barefoot. I love your channel. Oh, I love you guys more. Thank you. Leave the drama at the door says, 4-month member. So glad I found this happy place. I'm so glad you found it too. I'm so glad you found it too. You guys make me very, very, very happy. Hi, Nick Starro, all the way from Sweden, says I went through the docket earlier today. And for a murder case, the docket entries are surprisingly few. Yep. I'd expected more motion and lemonades from the state or a renewed tailored gag order. Well, we did think that the judge was going to do something about the gag order. She never did. But the motions in limine, according to the new scheduling order, are not due until the end of the month. And so I think they're going to start piling up. They're going to start piling up. Nick, thank you for your super chat. And I'm here for it. WTF. Luck Cake says one of DK's best performances still, Diane Keaton, still Alice. Hard to watch, but genius acting. Yes, I did watch that one too. Love it. I'm more of a Leslie, became a new member. Welcome. Anna Molly says, off topic, but I'm loving Paris Ray. I listened to Horoscope on repeat for 30 minutes yesterday. It's good, right? Isn't it good? Thank you, Anna. I'm happy to introduce you to them. And J. Michael RN says, sorry if this was covered. Is he bonded? He's out. Yeah, he's out on, I don't remember what his bond originally was, 50, maybe 50,000. You know, I have the docket up, so why don't we take a look at it? We'll take a look. Arkansas is a state that is very, it's easier to get records than many other states. New York, forget it. Even if you're an attorney in New York, unless it's your case, it's really hard to get records unless you're the attorney of record on the case. But he's been out for a while. And here's his docket. And his charges. Does anybody remember 150,000? It was 150. Thank you, Nextaro. 150,000. Yeah, not a lot of filings for a case of this magnitude. And there's two things I have to go over with you today. One is the state's answer to the defendant's motion to dismiss, that they made a motion to dismiss on Fifth Amendment grounds, saying that it was unconstitutional not to have a grand jury indictment. And the state's response is very short. It's only 2 pages. Remember how long that pleading was from Aaron Spencer's team? Far longer than 2 pages. And this motion in limine to exclude evidence of Spencer's conduct from 2024. That's the first thing I want to pull up because it's interesting. It's giving us a little bit more insight into some of the events surrounding the case. So let me find it because I have it somewhere. First, we'll look at the scheduling order, and this was just issued by the court September 29th. So according to this scheduling order, remember the trial was supposed to happen, I think in November, and it was pushed back because of the motion. Or lots of motions, or the fact that it took so long to take the gag order away. I can't remember now why it got pushed originally, but according to this new scheduling order that was just filed September 29th, all discovery is to be completed by October 30th. All motions are to be filed by November 1st, and all responses to motions by November 11th. So we're going to come up on a whole bunch of filings in the next 2 weeks. And the pretrial conference is December 17th, 2025 at 9 a.m. And the jury trial is January 26th through 30th, 2026. So they're only expecting a 5-day trial, which is wild to me. All witness lists must be submitted to the court 14 days prior to the jury trial. The court is mindful that there are motions pending in this matter. All responses to said motions shall be filed by October 10th, 2025. The court shall withhold any ruling until the date of the pretrial. It is so ordered, and Barbara Elmore, as of right now, is still the judge on this case. September 29th, 2025. Hold 1 second. Because that's a great question, and now I have to go back into the filings to find out the answer to that. About whether the state moved for the gag order or if it was just something. No, the state did move for a gag order. But I think what happened, didn't she like rule on that right away within 30 minutes or something of the motion being filed, or within 30 minutes of the response being filed? So yeah, the state did move for a gag order on December 4th. And it was granted really quickly by December 10th. So I don't think that was within a half an hour. Something else was in a half an hour, but my brain is like conflating a whole bunch of cases. So just, you got to pardon me every now and then. All right, so let's take a look at the motion in limine to exclude any reference to conduct by Aaron Spencer from July of 2024 and see what that is all about. Okay. Where did it go? It disappeared. I'll just download it again. Hang on. For those of you who are not familiar, motions in lemonade are motions that we call them motions in lemonade because the closed captions did that one day, and so we sort of adopted it. But motions in lemonade are motions made prior to trial, wherein one of the parties either asks for certain evidence to be included or excluded prior to the trial so that they can get a ruling prior to the trial and they know better how to prepare their case. And so this is a motion in lemonade filed by the defense to exclude evidence of Spencer's conduct from July of 2024, pursuant to some case law and the Arkansas Rules of Evidence. And this was filed on October 1st, 2025. Comes down defendant Aaron Spencer buying through his attorney, Michael Keel of Lassiter and Castanelli, and for his motion states, decedent Michael Fosler was charged with multiple felony counts for essaying Spencer's daughter in case number blank. Fosler was arrested on July 11th, 2024, after Spencer's daughter made initial disclosures on July 8th of 2024. The state's discovery file contains a report from Lonoke County Sheriff's Office Deputy John Ingram about a meeting with Leanna Higginbotham and her daughter Paula McFarlane on July 8th of 2024. The report alleges Higginbotham and McFarlane told Ingram that Aaron Spencer had requested details about their, quote, mutual friend Michael Fosler, and that when Higginbotham and McFarlane asked Spencer why he wanted Fosler's information, Spencer told them that Fosler had raped his teenage daughter and allegedly begged for them not to call the police. Ingram's report then notes that he spoke with Spencer at his residence and that he was extremely angry at first and refused to talk about possible rape, but then calmed down and cooperated fully with law enforcement's investigation into Fosler. All right, so that's very interesting to me for a couple of reasons. Aaron Spencer goes to these two people, this woman and her daughter, asking what they know about Michael Fosler, and they immediately go to the sheriff. And is that how the sheriff's office found out about what happened to Aaron Spencer's daughter? Because it then says Ingram's report then notes he spoke with Spencer at his residence. So he went to Spencer's house and talked to him. And then after calming down, Aaron Spencer cooperated fully with law enforcement's investigation into Fosler. You know what they're going to try and do? This is what they're going to try and do. They're going to try and say Fosler wanted to take the law into his own hands. He wanted vigilante justice. And so, he planned this out. And it wasn't a heat of passion thing. It wasn't, justifiable homicide. It wasn't self-defense. He was planning this for a long time. I think if he was planning this for a long time, he would have done it a lot sooner. He wouldn't have waited for his daughter to be kidnapped by this monster. But that's just my personal opinion. They go on to say this court must exclude any reference to or evidence about Spencer's conduct in July of 2024 pursuant to Arkansas Rule of Evidence 401, 402, 403, and 404. Such evidence has no independent relevance and does not fall into any of the listed or known exceptions to Arkansas's general prescription on character evidence. Further, any probative value that the evidence has, which Spencer does not concede, is grossly outweighed by the dangers of unfair prejudice and confusion of the issues. The evidence is not relevant and is inadmissible pursuant to Arkansas Rule of Evidence 401 and 402. Spencer's conduct in July of 2024 has no bearing on whether his use of force against Fosler more than 3 months later in response to Fosler kidnapping, essaying, and possibly eliminating his daughter as a witness in his own criminal case was justified. The evidence must be excluded as irrelevant accordingly. Rule 404B of the Arkansas Rules of Evidence provides evidence of other crimes, wrongs, or acts is not admissible to prove the character evidence of a person, to prove the character of a person in order to show that he acted in conformity therewith. It may, however, be admissible for other purposes, such as proof of motive, opportunity, intent, preparation, plan, knowledge, identity, or absence of mistake or accident. And this is what we call prior bad acts evidence. Prior bad acts evidence must be independently relevant to the main issue, relevant in the sense of tending to prove some material point rather than merely to prove that the defendant is a criminal. Even if relevant under 404B, evidence may still be excluded under Arkansas Rule of Evidence 403 if its probative value is substantially outweighed by the danger of unfair prejudice, confusion of the issues, or misleading the jury. The state is not entitled to introduce evidence of other offenses to persuade the jury that the accused is a criminal and thus likely to have committed the crimes he has been charged with. Specifically, proof of other crimes is never admitted when its only relevance is to show the defendant is a man of bad character and or addicted to crime. And I should point out to you also that there's no crime here in what he did by asking those people not to go to the police right away. In my opinion, he wasn't charged with anything. The evidence at issue has no independent relevance to the charged act. Whether Spencer asked associates of Fosler for information about Fosler more than 3 months prior to the charged acts in this case has no relevance to the charged acts. Whether Spencer was angry and or initially refused to cooperate with law enforcement into the investigation of Fosler, an investigation he then cooperated with fully, has no relevance to the charged acts either. Such evidence may be relevant if Spencer was alleged to have stalked Fosler and killed him at his home or out in public. However, that is not what happened here. Rather, Spencer awoke in the middle of the night to find his teenage daughter missing and happened upon Fosler's truck as it turned down Spencer's street while out searching for his daughter in his truck. Well, I didn't know that. That's new information. That when he found Fosler had turned onto Spencer's street. Spencer was not looking for Fosler. Rather, he was looking for his daughter. He just happened to find Fosler with his 14-year-old daughter mere months after Fosler's arrest for essaying her. What followed was a lawful use of force in defense of his daughter and himself. The issue here is whether Spencer validly used force in defense of his daughter and himself, not whether he had any specific intent to kill Fosler prior to the incident at issue. The evidence is inadmissible accordingly. Instead, this evidence is the worst kind of propensity evidence meant to encourage the jury to find Spencer guilty in accordance with his character for having sought out Fosler's information to handle the issue himself, despite no actual proof of such, to encourage a vigilante narrative that is simply belied by the actual facts of the charged offense, rather than evidence associated with the charged offense. Any marginal relevance the evidence may have, which Spencer does not concede, is outweighed by the dangers of confusion of the issues and unfair prejudice and must be excluded pursuant to Rule 403 accordingly. The trial would become about whether Spencer had previously sought to handle Fosler himself in July of 2024, rather than whether he was justified in killing Fosler in October of 2024, following Fosler's abduction of his daughter. The state will be able to argue some sort of pre-existing intent despite no alleged connection between Spencer's July 2024 comments and use of force against Fosler in October of 2024. This court must exclude the evidence pursuant to Rule 403 accordingly. The evidence does not fit into any exception listed in 404B, and in fact is precisely the type of evidence that Rule 404B exists to keep out. Further, admission of this evidence would violate Spencer's due process rights. When evidence is introduced that is so unduly prejudicial that it renders the trial fundamentally unfair, the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment provides a mechanism for relief. The court must exclude the evidence at issue accordingly. Wherefore, the defendant respectfully requests that this court enter an order precluding the state from offering any evidence about his July 2024 conduct during the trial in this matter, or alternatively, for a hearing whereby the state may specify which exception to Rule 404B it believes applies, and where the court may determine whether such evidence will be admissible in the jury trial. XOXO, Lassiter and Casanelli, and this was delivered to the other side on October 1st, 2025. And I think the judge just said all responses to this motion, to any of the pending motions, of which this is one, should be filed by October 10th. I don't see it in the docket yet, but the state has responded to this motion in limine. But let's go back to the rule and see if we can identify any exceptions that they might think it could fall under. Here are the exceptions: proof of motive, opportunity, intent, preparation, plan, knowledge, identity, or absence of mistake or accident. Well, I think they're going to try to use it to show that he had proof of motive. Would they just agree to exclude it? Doubtfully. Do they want Aaron Spencer to be the sheriff of Lonoke County? Doubtfully. So we'll see what happens with this. But again, I have been in disagreement with every one of this judge's rulings so far, and there hasn't really been many of them. I don't think it should come in. I think it's more prejudicial than probative. Because again, those people went to the sheriff or to law enforcement the same day. I have questions about who these people are. Anybody local? Does anybody know who Leanna Higginbotham and her daughter Paula McFarlane are? Sarah says, with Elmore presiding, I'm betting she allows it. Proof of motive, says Robin. But he was eventually charged, so, I mean, Jill says, that was probably a dumb question, but if he's running for sheriff, would that make his name well known? Could that cause them to move the trial to another jurisdiction? I don't think there's been a motion for change of venue yet. Yeah, I'm in agreement with you that these lawyers are excellent writers. Esther says, when it comes to our children, nothing should be kept a secret about the perp. Why do we need to hide the truth? Right. Everything is sealed about him. The charges are sealed. Everything is sealed. Give me all the books. Aaron is currently out on $150,000 bond. He's been out since the beginning. I don't think he spent any time in jail, maybe overnight, but I don't recall exactly. Don't forget to hit the like button, y'all. Starter Villain said, this is the reason they didn't want anyone to know about what was going on. They knew the public would be outraged. Yeah. Channel your outrage, folks, into other important causes like this one, like freeing Aaron Spencer. They could have charged him with a lesser charge. I don't know, manslaughter or something. No, murder. Murder. That's why sometimes we put Dexter up in the corner, because He's our mascot in certain situations. And sometimes people just need killing. I don't know. It's the oldest defense in the book. He just needed killing. And I think he was saving his own daughter's life. And that's my personal opinion. And I'm sticking to it. USMC Cowgirl says, Aaron is doing what we all should. Like the old adage says, be the change you want to see in the world. Such an inspiration. If I still lived in Arkansas, he'd have my vote. Praying he wins trial and sheriff. Same. Goodmans are here and they gifted a membership. Thank you, Goodmans. Tara Anderson became a new member. Welcome, welcome. More of Alessi says, until I gave my credit card to the wrong sneaky snake, I was a member for months. I finally saw the join button. It's worth starting over. Oh, thanks for being here for a long time. I know you've been here for a very long time. He was motivated in real time to save his child's life, right? More of Alessi, I agree. But if this evidence is allowed in, a jury could think, oh yeah, he's been planning this for a long time. Except the facts of the way that it unraveled and the way that it happened make me think otherwise. Christy says, Carnage on Ice has a map of the route showing the drive Aaron took to find his daughter that night. That's a great channel. I have it linked below in the show notes because Carnage on Ice has done a deep dive into the longstanding, decades-long corruption in Lonoke County and Arkansas in general. And it's a great channel, and I highly recommend. If you want to deep dive, if you want to fall into the rabbit hole of Lonoke County and what's been going on there for decades, check out Carnage on Ice. All right, let's take a quick look at the state's response to the motion to dismiss. How long was that motion to dismiss on Spencer? I want to say it was like 30 pages, if I remember correctly. It was long. And they put in a 3-page opposition. 3 pages. Let me see. It was 16 pages. The motion to dismiss was 16 pages, and the response is a measly 3. Let's take a look at the response. After this, should we watch the Ian Whiffen videos? Oh, I think we should. After this, we'll watch the Ian Whiffen videos that just came out on Cellebrite's channel, and they're wild. Wild. Okay. This is the state's response to defendant's motion to dismiss felony information on Fifth Amendment grounds, filed October 3rd. Comes the state of Arkansas by and through prosecuting attorney Chuck Graham, and for its response to defendant's motion to dismiss felony information on Fifth Amendment grounds, hereby states argument. Spencer's motion to dismiss has framed the state's filing of a criminal information in this case as a failure to comply with the Fifth Amendment. This is not so. 28 states currently file criminal charges by information. Here are the 28 states in the footnote below. Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Maryland, Michigan, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, Nevada, New Mexico, North Dakota, Oklahoma, Oregon, Pennsylvania, South Dakota, Utah, Vermont, Washington, Wisconsin, and Wyoming. The current controlling state and federal precedent does not require states to use grand juries. Spencer's reliance on Ramos versus Louisiana is misplaced. Ramos concerned the requirement of a unanimous verdict in trials by juries under the Sixth Amendment, not the mode of charging under the Fifth Amendment. That decision did not overrule Hurtado v. California, that's an 1884 case, which clearly held that the states do not have to indict by grand jury. While Spencer's motion presents scholarly argument that under modern incorporation jurisprudence, the grand jury clause should be recognized as fundamental, those arguments remain outside the holdings of controlling precedent. And I said that as well. I said, when we first went over the defense's motion, I said, it's a very novel argument. I just don't think it's going to succeed under the current law of the state of Arkansas. And then they say this motion must fail as a matter of current constitutional law. While Spencer alleges that he is not requesting this court to overrule Hurtado, that is what would be required in order to grant Spencer's motion. It is well settled that states are not required to charge by indictment, but may charge by information. Hurtado v. California from 1884. The Arkansas Supreme Court has addressed this issue many times and has consistently refused to extend the right to grand jury indictment to proceedings in the state. While much of the case law that has reiterated this well-settled matter is prior to the Ramos ruling, the Arkansas Supreme Court has stayed consistent even since Ramos was decided. The Ramos opinion was issued April 20th of 2020. The defendant in Waller v. State, which was issued in November of 2020, filed a pro se petition for a writ of habeas corpus. The defendant had been convicted of first-degree murder, arson, and first-degree battery. Among other arguments, the defendant alleged in his petition and in his argument on appeal that no grand jury indictments were issued for the charges of arson and battery. At that time, the Arkansas Supreme Court reiterated post-Ramos that the right to grand jury indictment proceedings does not extend to the state of Arkansas. Wherefore, the state of Arkansas has respectfully requested this court deny the defendant Aaron Spencer's motion to dismiss XOXO. And it really only was 2 pages because the third page is only the signature page. Marianne Bird, Deputy Prosecuting Attorney. Oh, that's great, Lucy. That's a great username. I don't think this motion will be successful. It's a great novel argument, and I think his attorneys are excellent attorneys, and I think that they have a knack for arguing constitutional issues. And in fact, the gag order was overturned as being unconstitutional. So I don't know if they would hear this specifically, but it's kind of scary to think that a DA can just like file a piece of paper saying, we're charging you, and then you get charged. Yes, we talked about this with the Buffs. Thanks, Tom Gully. Go Buffs. That was a big win yesterday. I don't know how the spread was only 3 points, though. Did I read that wrong? That was a huge upset, and that's good. And I'm happy for Dion, happy for Coach Prime, and for the team. Robin says, most, if not all of those states allow for a preliminary hearing in place of the grand jury. In Arkansas, however, you don't even need a preliminary hearing. Right. So what happens in Arkansas is the DA can just file a piece of paper saying, here's what we're charging them with. Okay, peace out. Gives them unfettered, power. Because a grand jury doesn't have to indict and a judge doesn't have to say anything about it. And that's the other thing about Fosler. Nobody knows how he was indicted, if he was indicted, what happened with those actual charges, what the actual charges were. Lucy said, you gave me the idea because you were talking about Bettero and you said better off something or other. Yeah, better. So wait, what did you say? Somebody should change their name to Better Off with Bettero? Well done, girl. Well done. Somebody will do it before the stream is over. Letteros by Bettero says, I'm pretty obsessed with my username. I was going to change it to Mega Motions by Mark, but I just couldn't do it. After you change it, you have to wait like 2 weeks, right? Before you can change it to something else. Yeah. And Amy Jones. LawTube is peeling away the hidden layers of corruption throughout this country. Preach, sis. Trying to. All it takes is people to pay attention, right? Pay attention. Share it out. Get outraged. If you're outraged, share it. Hi, Suze. Glamasu says, isn't defense of others a defense? Yes, that is it. That is an affirmative defense of self-defense. Yes, and that's going to be his defense. But that's going to require trial. Is it overcharged? I think so. I think it's overcharged. True Crime Justice, thanks for being here for 13 months. I would have done the same thing Aaron did. Aaron for sheriff, free Aaron Spencer. Are you outraged yet? Thoughts, questions, comments, concerns before we move on to our next topic, which is the new Ian WHIFFEN videos that surfaced like yesterday. Yeah, there's thank you for sending this to me, Kaylee, about Sheriff Staley. There's Sheriff Staley has had a lot of issues while he's been in office, not the least of which was a civil lawsuit against him and some of the jailers over there for the things they were doing to the inmates, the female inmates. And so Kaylee just sent me another article here that we'll take a look at real quick. And this is from April. Oh, this is from April of 2022. All right. So I guess I don't know how long he's been the sheriff for. Somebody could tell me how long he's been the sheriff, but apparently there's a video of him striking an inmate with excessive force. And so I think Staley has had his share of issues since he's been sheriff there. This is all the way back from 4/27/22. Lonoke County Sheriff seen striking jail inmate in surface video, denies excessive force. There he is. There's Sheriff Staley. Remember we watched originally when we first started covering this? His statement. He gave a statement on Facebook. It was kind of weird. And again, this goes back to 2022. Lonoke County Sheriff John Staley is defending a surface jail video which shows a physical altercation between him and an inmate. The footage dates back all the way to March 31st of 2019. Staley tells KATV that inmates were lined up amid fears that someone was in possession of an improvised knife. He can be seen approaching one inmate toward the end of the line, and at 11:26 p.m., the sheriff appears to throw a punch. There's no audio on the recording, so it's unclear what words were exchanged. However, he can then be seen grabbing the inmate with one arm and pinning him against the wall. He then uses his other arm to hold the inmate there for 7 seconds before he lets go. I mean, this is bad, but it's far less bad than the stuff that was going on in the jail with the female inmates that we covered in another stream. The sheriff claims this video was released publicly years ago and the news media ignored it, although KATV has no record of that. He also called the video's release a last-minute smear ahead of next month's election. Oh, so it came out right before the election, and I guess the election would have been in May of 2022. So I'm guessing it's a 4-year term, and that May of 2026 will be the next election in which Aaron Spencer is running. But I think maybe there's a primary, right? In March. Because somebody posted in the Facebook group, the primary is March 2nd, 2026. That just made my, hold on. All of a sudden, my robot over there, whose name begins with an A, just started telling me all about Aaron Spencer, which is kind of funny because I don't think I said that word. So he's had his share of scandal. Sheriff Staley. Okay, thoughts, questions, comments, concerns before we move on to Ian WHIFFEN. Sumo saying, thank you for tuning in from across the pond. She says, no offense, but you guys across the pond are one of a kind. A man charged with murder running for sheriff. Y'all are wild. Next thing you know, a man off the telly will be president. Oh, Spencer for sheriff. Oh. Well, he hasn't been convicted of anything. Perhaps he's being wrongfully persecuted. All right. So, topic change. Let's look at the new Cellebrite videos that came out on their own channel. They've got a YouTube channel, apparently. And Ian WHIFFEN has done an interview with somebody else at Cellebrite. And I think we might glean some information about Cellebrite, about Ian WHIFFEN, about how he got involved in the case. And this, again, falls into the category of you just can't make this up. Because you just can't make this up. If you haven't seen it, if you have seen it, no spoilers, please. Because maybe some people haven't seen it. And this just came out 2 days ago. It's got 0 comments. And it's got, when I first found it, or when somebody first sent it to me 2 days ago, it had like 300 views. Now it has 1,700 views, which still in the world of YouTube is not a lot of views. But it's wild. And it's wild that Cellebrite is a technology company and that their technology in producing this YouTube video is so terrible. It's wild. This is called Ask the Expert, Examining the Karen Read Trial with Ian WHIFFEN, Part 1. Okay, so there's Part 1 and a Part 2. Part 1 is 10 minutes. We're going to, stop and start. And if there's some music here that might get me stricken, so I might have to just like talk over the music or mute it during the music or whatever, because YouTube is, real particular about their music if you don't have the rights to it. And this is archaic. You're a technology company that is used by, I don't even know how many states, law enforcement. And this is crazy. Okay. So let's take a look. It was only put out on Friday. Today's Sunday. And let's put the captions on. And here's Ian WHIFFEN on the right, and here's whoever's interviewing him on the left. Her name is Heather. She also works for Cellebrite. And please enjoy. If you have not seen this yet, enjoy.
A super onion.
Infamous Google search, cost long to dying of cold.
Let me just fast forward through their dopey music.
Hello, everyone. And
Innovation for a safer world. That is their slogan. Cellebrite's slogan. Innovation for a safer world.
welcome to a special edition of
I'm going to have to fast forward past the music. All right. So they talk about, Karen Read's trial and what it was about. And we all know, and we're just going to go through this.
case. You have read it, you've heard it. I'm sure Ian will allude more to the digital evidence and what that spoke for. But the prosecution
Says here, the police officers apparently were involved and covered up. So everyone has their own opinions. We've seen them all over social media, but that's really the basics of this case. This case is like a super onion with so many layers. The more you peel back, you're like, what is actually happening? It was a media circus, extremely high profile. Our very own Ian WHIFFEN was kind of the ringmaster. Okay, hold on.
and our very own. But that's really the basics of the case. This case is like a super onion with so many layers. The more you peel back, you're like, what is actually happening? It was a media circus, extremely high profile, and our very own Ian WHIFFEN was kind of the ringmaster at times of that circus.
He was the ringmaster of the circus? I'm sorry, what? Ian WHIFFEN was the ringmaster of the Karen Read circus? There's two parts. I don't know, because they only released their short videos. Maybe that's why I have no idea. They're not long form people. They don't have a lot of videos on their channel, I don't think. He was the ringmaster of the circus. Okay.
So Ian, seriously, I applaud you, one, for your patience and not flipping out. I know many times I wanted to flip out on your behalf. So I was emotionally in this with you, but
So everyone at Cellebrite was watching the trial. Everyone at Cellebrite was talking about the trial. Everyone at Cellebrite was rooting for him and emotionally invested in this trial. And he wasn't even testifying on behalf of Cellebrite. He was not testifying as a witness from Cellebrite. He was there to do an infomercial for Artex. This is wild.
You did a fantastic job. For those of you that don't know Ian, he's not just the brilliant mind of forensics. He is also our decoding manager here at Cellebrite. So Ian takes all the things that are stored in that lovely brain of his and tries to dump it back into the tools for everyone else that needs Ian's brain to help us solve our digital forensic investigations. All right, Ian, you ready for some questions?
I am. Go for it.
And then we'll have some fun at the end too. All right, why were you...
Okay, so they're a technology company. They have probably the crappiest graphics I've ever seen. When my kids were in 3rd grade, they could have done a better PowerPoint than this, and a better background, and better font, and could have had a microphone. A microphone, maybe. It's an all-star audience today in the chat. Claire is here. Ray from Dallas is here, who's coming on to YouTube and causing some waves from what I hear. Olivia Niles here. Emily C is here. All the usuals, all the greats. And we're all here for this because it's ridiculous.
brought into this case?
Okay. So I initially got involved in this case after a true crime podcaster contacted Cellebrite asking for clarification.
I'm sorry, what? I first got involved in this case when a true crime podcaster contacted Cellebrite about the 227 search. That's what happened? Who's the true crime podcaster that they are referring to? That is so interesting. A true crime podcaster called Cellebrite asking about the 227 search. And what? He was the customer service rep that answered the phone and inserted himself. He parachuted into this case. I got to hear this again. Right. It's the third different explanation he's given about how he got involved, says Olivia. And Olivia knows. And Olivia, I sent you these yesterday. I was like, I can't wait to hear what you do with this. First he said it was like the MSP, like Tully found him, and then it was something else. And now I thought it was Richard Green. I thought it was Richard Green who called, not a true crime podcaster. Wasn't it Richard Green called asking for an explanation? And that's how they got him. I don't know. Or Garino. No, I don't know. Was Garino the one who talked to him? There's so many different. So who's this true crime podcaster? I don't know. Let's hear that again.
Okay. So I initially got involved in this case after a true crime podcaster contacted Cellebrite asking for clarification because of some things that he'd seen in other people's blogs, some things that had been tweeted.
It's a he. We know that. It's a he. Other people's blogs. Okay. So whoever the true crime podcaster was reading Turtle Boy's blogs, right? Sounds like process of elimination.
Related to an artifact that Physical Analyzer had passed. Basically, police had obviously extracted a bunch of phones.
They don't use evidence bags. Come on, this is stock footage. What a joke. Great stock footage, because we know that the MSP can't be. They don't use evidence bags.
The time of John's death. Done their own analysis, including the analysis of a witness's device, which was written off at the time as not containing anything relevant to the case. About a year later, defense experts took that same extraction and ran it through Physical Analyzer as well, and now found a timestamp which they thought was a smoking gun. The timestamp itself was...
Well, it kind of was the smoking gun. It kind of is the smoking gun, because if Haas longed to die in cold, say it with me, was Googled at 2:27 a.m., that means that Jen McCabe knew John O'Keefe was out in the cold. At least, little less than 4 hours before his body was found.
Related to a Google search. The infamous Google search, Haas longed to die in the cold, which is an obvious misspelling of the term how long to die in the cold. I'll say that this search had actually been found initially by police using Physical Analyzer 752. But at that time, the timestamp attached to it was around 6:23, 6:24 a.m. after John's body had been found and therefore deemed not evidentially significant. However, when the expert for the defense took the same data, they used a
Yeah, okay. All right, I got to stop because now this is cover your ass. I think this is cover your ass because they might have lost a lot of business. Maybe they lost a lot of contracts after the Karen retrial, and now they're trying to rehab their reputation. You know, Olivia says it wasn't the only timestamp at that time. That was the smoking gun, though. What about the 2:22 a.m. butt dials? Coincidence too, Whiffen? Let's take that again. Yeah, and obviously, thank you for putting up this graphic, Cellebrite, because as you can see, the 623 searches how long TI die in CLKD. It's even highlighted for you.
However, when the expert for the defense took the same data, they used a newer version of Physical Analyzer. This newer version had additional support. Obviously, we always add support for new artifacts as time goes on. And this new artifact support for a database called Browser State gave a timestamp of 2:27 a.m.
Yeah.
For that same Google search. And that's important. 2:27 is a really important time because that would mean that this is around 3.5, 4 hours before John's body was found.
Right.
Implying that somebody had some knowledge that he was outside dying in the cold before anybody should have known that that was the case.
Yeah.
So this Google search became a pivotal piece of evidence for the defense to try to prove that someone other than Karen was responsible for John's death.
Right.
So a few things. I have many comments on this one. Cellebrite updated Physical Analyzer based upon your research and what you learned in that case so that people who don't understand how to validate don't have time to validate, and for better lack of other terms, press buttons to get answers. The answer will be correct in their face going forward.
It will
Yes,
be,
I think
it will be correct in their face going forward because they don't have time. She packed so much into that sentence that we really need to go back. They changed their software based upon what Ian Whiffen found in the Karen Reed case because their fear was that law enforcement officers or whoever's using their software might be lazy and not have time to actually validate or interpret the results. And so we just took it away altogether. Okay, altogether now, every single prisoner who is currently incarcerated and convicted based on Cellebrite data and timestamps therein must start banging on the jailhouse doors to get out because they are going to tell us that their software was wrong. That's what it sounds like to me. Olivia, tell me if I'm wrong. Ready? Here we go.
A few things. I have many comments on this one. Cellebrite updated Physical Analyzer based upon your research and what you learned in that case so that people who don't understand how to validate don't have time to validate, and for better lack of other terms, press buttons to get answers. The answer will be correct in their face going forward.
Yes, I think we always
He's like, what? I'm sorry, what are you talking about?
try to provide information which is correct to the best of our knowledge and ability at the time based on the research. We always want to give information which can be verified by the examiners. And in this case, once I started to look at the data and look at the evidence, I determined that the timestamp in the browser state database was related to the time that the tab, so the browser tab actually took focus, and not the time that the search occurred or the navigation event occurred. So essentially, if you imagine opening up a brand new tab at 10 a.m. in the morning, using it to search for 30 minutes or so, visiting numerous web pages during that time. When you eventually close that tab, a record's created in the browser state database saying the tab opened at 10 a.m. The last page that was visited, the one that was visited at like 10:30, is this. So there's no correlation between the two.
Wow.
And
wow. How many people are sitting in prison right now because they were convicted on Cellebrite data that was wrong, if you believe what they're saying. But here's the evidence, defense attorneys out there. Here it is, Exhibit A. He's telling you, and she's telling you, because she works to Cellebrite, and she's asking him these questions, and they're getting it all out there that it was wrong. Richard Green validated the timestamp using multiple methods, you dumb Cellebrite employees, says Gray Space. Tom Gully Show says, are you a person who enjoys the thrill of validating but don't have the time or skill to validate? Well, your prayers have been answered. Meet Cellebrite. Wow. Zoe says, you make the time to validate. You do not cut corners. What a dumb question she asked him. A good citizen says, why was it deleted? Ian?
That's essentially what my research was focusing on. That timestamp is not necessarily the time the page was visited. It could be before, it could be after, but it's irrelevant to the actual URL. So based on that, we updated our decode.
It's irrelevant to the actual URL. You know who it's relevant to, WHIFFEN? You know who it's relevant to? I don't know, hundreds of people sitting in prison right now because your software was wrong and law enforcement relied on it and DAs relied on it to convict people? I mean, am I overreacting? I could be overreacting, but I feel like this is opening up the Pandora's box and floodgates into the other side of Narnia for all the people that were convicted based on Cellebrite data. Hey, it's me. Stacy says, it's odd that Cellebrite's making these videos. Also strange there are no comments on either of the videos on their YouTube page. Yeah, somebody try and make a comment and see if it'll stay. Maybe they keep deleting them. I don't know. Libby says she's trying to use hyper-technical language to obfuscate from the fact that they changed their software to serve a large law enforcement customer of theirs. Major conflict. So how can you ever rely on Cellebrite? You can't. I don't think you can.
To remove any kind of confusion and to ensure that we give you the web page that was visited, but we can't say that this is the time. So we just remove the time altogether.
So it's totally inaccurate. You can't say what time it was. So you just removed all the time altogether because it was always wrong. They're saying it was always wrong. Their software has always been wrong. How long? I mean, you guys can tell me. How long has Cellebrite been in existence? How long have law enforcement agencies across the country, maybe even the world, been relying on their data for timestamps? And he just said that they just removed the time altogether because it was wrong. This could quite possibly be the most explosive corporate video released by an evidence company ever in the history of the world. Let's hear that again. We just removed the time altogether because it was always wrong. I'm verklempt. This is insane. So there's no correlation.
Visited, the one that was visited at like 10:30 is this. So there's no correlation between the two. And that's essentially what my research was focusing on. That timestamp is not necessarily the time the page was visited. It could be before, it could be after.
Could be any time.
But it's irrelevant to the actual URL. So
well, then Brian Walsh has a pretty good defense now, doesn't he? Doesn't he? Yeah. Hello, Brian Walsh. Larry Tifton, are you listening? It's all wrong. The timestamps are all wrong. It could have been searched anytime.
On that, we updated our decoding to remove any kind of confusion and to ensure that we give you the web page.
In removing confusion, you've just created a whole hell of a lot of confusion and trouble and problems for, I don't know, maybe every DA's office in the country. However many DA's offices and municipalities use your software worldwide, for all the people who are now going to want to come out of jail, because you just admitted that your timestamps were wrong, so you just eliminated them. Right? Huh.
URL. So based on that, we updated our decoding to remove any kind of confusion and to ensure that we give you the web page that was visited, but we can't say that this is the time. So we just remove the time altogether because we don't.
And I think that's way better. And something I wanted to comment.
I think that's way better. I think that's way better because, it's not really important to like pinpoint the time of things like crimes that are committed because, our software is mostly used for like law enforcement to like convict people. And, it's like, I think that's like super important that like now, that is so cool that we did that because, now it's just like, whatevs. It's like, whatevs. Maybe they're guilty, maybe they're not. Whatevs. It's so much better. It is so much better. Are you kidding me? I gotta hear that again. Like, oh my God, Valley Girl.
So based on that, we updated our decoding to remove any kind of confusion and to ensure that we give you the web page that was visited, but we can't say that this is the time. So we just remove the time altogether because we don't.
And I think that's way better. And something I wanted to comment
Way
to some
better.
of the social media trolls who have zero digital forensics knowledge in their bodies, but think they know better than our very own Ian Whiffen.
Wow, she's kissing his ass. People out there who don't know anything but think they know better than you. Well, you know what I know? You know what I know? I don't know a lot about forensics, but you know what I know? I know that you've opened your company up to like a huge number of lawsuits. I mean, think about the lawsuit. I'm just thinking about the people that want to get out of jail. Think about the people that were wrongfully incarcerated for however many years based on their data that they now are admitting was wrong because now it is way better. It's way better that we just took the whole timestamp away. It's way better. Call your carrier, put them on notice that you're going to have, 1,000 lawsuits filed against you by the end of the week. This is an admission. This is an admission that will be used in court against Cellebrite, that their software was wrong, that their timestamps were wrong. And so rather than admit that maybe Jen McCabe Googled "Haas long to die in cold" at 2:27 a.m., they would rather open the floodgates to the slew of lawsuits that are sure to ensue from here. This is an admission. Wow. I mean, like, who approved this video before they published it? Everyone, I'm glad that we're doing this stream because they're probably going to dirty delete this right after we're done. That's a huge admission. Huge. The social media trolls, listen, who have zero forensic, you know who they're talking to, Olivia. Listen to this. I think that's way better.
To some of the social media trolls, that's way better. And something I wanted to comment to some of the social media trolls who have zero digital forensics knowledge in their bodies, but think they know better than our very own Ian Whiffen.
Our very own Ian Whiffen.
Tools cannot be static in nature. A static tool should never be used in a forensic lab ever because technology is constantly changing. These apps change, browsers change, and we adapt to it. So we have to just keep the research going and keep feeding our tools and making them better.
So if your tools suck and they were shitty and wrong, then how can you justify the number of people who are sitting in prison because your technology was wrong and outdated and it's static? So can we trust any software ever about anything? Wow, this girl is really open. She's telling us everything. This is wild. Yeah, the purpose of this video is an attempt to dunk on the people on YouTube. I think I think she's talking about Twitter and Reddit, probably. To dunk on the YouTube, I'm going to say Twitter and Reddit people that know that they are wrong. She's insulting everyone. And your tool then was never, if your tool was never accurate because it's been changing, right? And that is really why one tool should never be used. And that's why Richard Green used so many tools. So how can we trust any the fact that they're letting this woman speak on behalf of Cellebrite is blowing my mind right now. If I was in-house counsel for Cellebrite, my head has popped off and it's in Canada. Wow.
Of course, yeah. I mean, we have to.
I gotta hear that again.
Used in a forensic. Tools cannot be static in nature. a static tool should never be used in a forensic lab ever, because technology is constantly changing. These apps change, browsers change, and we adapt to it. So we have to just keep the research going and keep feeding our tools and making them better.
Keep feeding our tools.
Of course, yeah. I mean, we have to update our tools constantly to account for bugs that may exist in our software, bugs that may exist in the applications that we're decoding, changes made by vendors, or simply because our understanding changes. And this is a perfect example of where the testing that was originally done focused on a particular use case.
Your understanding?
But this case brought to light additional use cases and different ways that data can be populated, and the possibility that timestamp probably isn't accurate.
Okay, Melanie just went and posted a comment
Right,
on
so
this
what-
video and they've already deleted it. Why don't they just shut off the comments? Why are they taking the trouble to delete them? I gotta hear what he said again, because there was one thing in there. Our understanding changes. Isn't this supposed to be science, data, forensics? Like, it's not supposed to be about your understanding of it. So shady.
Or simply because our understanding changes. And this is a perfect example of where the testing that was originally done focused on a particular use case. But this case brought to light additional use cases and different ways that data can be populated, and the possibility that timestamp probably isn't accurate.
Yes,
Right, so
YouTubers
what
can
you're
delete
really
comments,
saying,
yes.
Ian, is that Cellebrite chose to make the tool better for users, and we weren't trying to be some part of the giant conspiracy of Karen Reed.
Okay. What? Better for users or better for law enforcement? Or better for Jennifer McCabe? Sweetie, honey, sweetie baby. What? I'm sorry. What? The giant conspiracy of Karen Reed? John O'Keefe was not hit by a car, and a car did not hit John O'Keefe, and that has nothing to do with your shitty cell phone forensics program. Okay. It has to do with medicine and science and physics. John O'Keefe's injuries did not indicate in any way, shape, or form that he was hit by a car. Okay. So the fact that, first of all, Ian WHIFFEN was a helpful witness for the defense second time around in trial number 2, in my opinion. And this is insane. You just got out there and told the truth. You didn't want to be some part of some conspiracy of Karen Reed. So what you're really saying, Ian, she's like trying to now, what do they call that when a therapist like parrots your back to you? If I understand what you're saying, and then they say the same exact thing back to you. Hold on. It's not mirroring. It's called something else. I forget the name of
Right.
it.
So what you're really saying, Ian, is that Cellebrite chose to make the tool better for users, and we weren't trying to be some part of the giant conspiracy of Karen Reed.
For users.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we would never modify our decoding or our tool for any other reason than to do what we think is forensically best. We want to give the users the information that we believe is accurate. And in this case, this particular artifact is super easy to validate. You can get any test device and test this out yourself.
But why then did every other program still show that starts at 227? Better for customers. Who are your customers? Your customers are not lay people. Your customers are law enforcement and district attorney's offices. Olivia says it's not a conspiracy that Karen Reed was found not guilty, and that the jury found that she was innocent. And the L21 says, WHIFFEN convinced me he could have been in the garage, yeah, or in the house. And then he went and remember, he did his own little experiments where he drove over hills and stuff and was waving the phone around, and he put the phone in a freezer. Do you remember? That was him, right? It's like a fever dream to me. It's like a fever dream. You can do this by yourself. You can test this out yourself with my new software, Artex. I have 60 worldwide users, or however many.
And in this case, this particular artifact is super easy to validate. You can get any test device and test this out yourself. If we were to modify our software for any kind of nefarious purpose,
Nefarious.
it wouldn't take long
He said,
before users
he
realize.
said nefarious. He's just parroting everything back.
If we were to modify our software for any kind of nefarious purpose, it wouldn't take long before users realized and quite rightly took us to task for doing things wrong.
Oh, we're taking you to task now. Don't worry about
we
it. This video has only been up for not even 48 hours. We're taking you to task now because I'm calling upon every prisoner out there. I know you can watch YouTube. A lot of prisons give you guys tablets to watch YouTube. I hope you're watching. Call your lawyer if you're in there because of Cellebrite, because they just admitted their software was wrong. The timestamps were wrong, so they just took them out. They just took them out. It wasn't for any nefarious purpose, you know, because time drifts and software and, you know, and software changes and it's ever evolving and, you know, we're taking you to task now because now you release this video and it could possibly have been the most damaging thing that your company has ever done to itself. Listen, here you go.
Purpose. Modify.
Wait.
Test this out yourself. If
Here we
we were to modify our software for any kind of nefarious purpose, it wouldn't take long before users realized and quite rightly took us to task for doing things wrong. Right? We only do things because we think it's right.
We only do things because we think it's right. Well, they're going to put on their stupid music again, so let me just listen to it off Scream or off Scream. It is like Scream. Well, Ian, I thank you for your time and what you do for this community and for our viewers. Next up, part 2, we're going to discuss testifying in court. Best practices, how to be cool and calm and collected like Ian himself, especially in a case like this that is so conspiracy driven, where there are people that firmly believe one way or the other. They were willing to put themselves out there on the line for, is she guilty? Is she not guilty? We're going to read some of the mean tweets. Oh yeah, they do mean tweets, which is great because that's something we did at the Wilbur too, or Aiden played some mean tweets or put up some mean tweets on the big screen at the Wilbur Theater. And then he and Nurse Kim had to respond to the mean tweets. And then it was a competition and it was fun. So here's part 2 about testifying. And because, you know, that's not all, folks. Plus, if you act now, we'll throw in a whole set of Ginsu knives and an old Cellebrite version where they actually had timestamps, because now it wasn't anything nefarious or anything like that. Norman Corey said he didn't want to admit he was wrong, so he rewrote the program to work with what he wanted the result to be. First of all, the fact that he's still working there is mind-numbing to me. Second of all, his entire testimony from season 1 was one long infomercial for his own software, if you recall. He was not hired to come in as a Cellebrite expert, and yet they are adopting his testimony as company policy and company approved. And that's wild to me. At first I thought he went rogue, you know, he went rogue from Cellebrite and he came in and he testified about so that he could get some publicity for his own software. Robin says, so highly unethical. They will throw in a Snuggie and a set of Ginsu knives, Jason. And going off the rails says, this is really poor attempt at damage control. Oh, the damage has not even begun. First of all, how long did they wait? Okay, Karen Reed was acquitted when? Almost 3 months ago? Or 3 months ago? A little over 3 months ago? And this is what they're putting out there now? I'm spun. I'm spun by this. I've never seen such bad PR in my life. Going off the rails, Jen, thanks for being with me for 13 months. And Charles Argo from South Africa says that this girl did the Koberger cell phone evidence. This girl, Heather? Oh, I did not know that. Thank you, Charles. And Sumo said, I bet Cellebrite didn't come with a disclosure in the past. Warning, this information's only right until we find errors. I'm blown away. Thanks, Sue, for another super chat. Masters of Criminology. Thanks for becoming a member. And just a little technical perjury. from Norway says, I commented on part 2 yesterday. I can still see it. Well, let's see. This is part 2 that I have up right now. And I see 0 comments. You can see it because you can't tell that they deleted it. But see where for me, there's 0 comments. And here's what they say in their show notes. There's only 930 views on this one that was posted on October 10th. It says, stop. If you haven't watched part 1, do it. And then they give a little link to it. And then they say, in part 2 of this special edition of Ask the Expert, Ian Whiffen and Heather Barnhart break down best practices of testifying, particularly in such a high-profile case such as the Karen Reed murder trial. As a bonus, Ian hears and reacts to just a handful of the many mean and misinformed tweets or X's about him and Cellebrite. Enjoy. Okay, we're going to enjoy. Oh, we can't wait. This one's 17 minutes, so I'll try and shut up and let it play through a little bit. But, I get so outraged that I got to talk. And also fair use. I have to keep interrupting or they're going to strike me because, that's what you got to do with fair use. Okay, here we go. Part 2, everyone.
Let the evidence speak to you.
Karen saying that I was right is...
I just saw this tweet. Special edition. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for part 2 of this special edition of Ask the Expert. I'm Heather Barnhart, and I have with me again Ian Whiffen, and we're discussing the Karen Reed case. If you didn't watch part 1, go back and spend the time to understand how Ian got involved in this case, some of the chaos behind it, and what the key digital evidence actually was. God. So Ian let the evidence tell the truth, and he simply testified to that truth.
He let the evidence
tell the
truth.
In part 2, we want to focus on that. So Ian was amazing in court.
He was amazing in court. He was so amazing in court.
The judge was even smiling at you, Ian, when you were done testifying. I felt like
the judge was smiling at you, Ian, after you testified. Oh my God. The judge was smiling at you. Judge Canody smiled at you, Ian.
Everyone wanted to give you a round of applause, but
everyone wanted to give you a round of, you know why? Because you were really helpful to the defense. Point out to me, chat, how many good things he said for the defense. Like, it's very possible that he did go into the house because he walked 80 steps. It's very possible that my data is wrong. Too cute by half. Yep. She's fangirling way too hard. I know. How to look like how to tank a multi-billion-dollar company by dummies. For Dummies book. Yeah, Till Fairy. Everyone wanted to give you a round of applause.
In addition to this case taking its own life form, the Karen Reed supporters, all the noise at the courthouse, so much noisy media chatter everywhere, you turned off your notifications. You were getting distracted by all the noise. Before we even talk about how you prepared to do that, I will say, even in the Idaho murder prep, when I asked you, Ian, should I watch these things? Should I listen to these things? And you're like, absolutely not. Isolate yourself. That was some of the best advice.
Yeah. Axiom is one of the competitors. Somebody said, tell me the competitors so I can buy stock in them. Axiom, Magnet, Forensics.
That I think all of us could take. Wow. You need to let the evidence speak to you and not really let social media or the conspiracy theorists out there sway you in one way or another. Right. All right. So we're going to talk about prepping, Ian. Prepping for this case, which we know you spent many, many hours doing.
Yeah, prepping for the colonoscopy that you received on the stand. That's the kind of prep you needed to do.
Not watched Ian testify.
Oh, yeah.
It's on YouTube. It's on Court TV YouTube. It's everywhere.
It's on Attorney Melanie Little's channel. And a lot of other creators are in the chat channels.
I've had many students that come up to me after I teach for SANS and they say, hey, we make all of our new people watch this. Hey, we make even our trained investigators watch this. Because the way Ian can explain.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Get your head out of his ass. Belkosov, Sanderson, Magnet, Axiom, right, is another one.
Extremely technical details to, I think even my dad would understand what you meant is astounding. So I personally thank you, and I love learning from you and watching you do this, but this is truly the masterclass. If you want to learn.
Wow, this is the master class. Did we watch the same cross? Kelly Reed is here. Hi, Kel. She says, this is gross. Are they lovers or coworkers? They're using his testimony to teach people how to testify. Boston Mass 781 said, I left a comment and it disappeared immediately. Someone's dirty deleting in real time. Colonoscopy on the stand. Yeah, that's what it was like.
Learn how to do courtroom
Stop the
testimony,
music.
you watch Ian Whiffen.
No, you don't.
I'm going to give you a little applause here.
Oh.
This is also why
Oh,
my family, the kids think Ian's a doctor because he's so smart. So he's Dr. Whiffen, according to our household.
that's so
But I want to break you through,
Doctor,
or
he's a
walk you through,
doctor.
I should say,
Are they dating?
key concepts
Did Heather land herself a doctor? Wow.
and advice and methodologies you use for people to
Methodology.
testify successfully in court.
Tell us.
So I'm going to give
Tell
you
us.
your
Ian.
points and then have you just chime in with what do these actually mean to you?
Sure.
The first one,
Tell us.
know your evidence and know it deeply.
Deeply.
So really there, it's easy to just create a report and present the data. But you really need to understand what that data means. How did that data get on the device? Why is it there? What are the other possibilities that could explain it? Is it deleted? If it's deleted, how was it deleted?
Tell us.
All these kind of components that really mean that you understand the data rather than just showing what the data is on the device. Like, did somebody do a search, or is it the result of an autocomplete? Were they at a location, or did they just search for the location? There's so much data you can get from a device that can mean different things. You really need to understand what you're testifying to.
I love that. And I've been feeling the pain of that one myself. All right, next up,
You've been feeling the
identify
pain?
the make or break evidence. So make or break in quotes.
Yes, I think this comes with experience. After a while, you start to recognize not just which artifacts exist, but which are the important ones, which are the ones that you really need to spend additional time validating, verifying, testing, researching. If it's simply like an SMS message, for example, that exists on the device, it's pretty straightforward. We know why the SMS message was there. So it may be really good evidence, but it's also really easy to explain. And I think everybody in the world understands what an SMS message is. But if we're talking about something such as a location, for example, there are multiple reasons a location could be there. It could be really important information. So you really need to know why it's there.
Cue more stock footage. Cue more stock footage. I'm gonna move these captions up.
Focus on it and do the additional validation and testing.
Focus.
Fantastic. All right, now the third one, which I think personally is difficult. And this is where I could let my mind run for days on end. How do you prepare for the toughest questions?
I let my mind run for days on end. Legitimately, I go over all of my reports. I'll just mention as well, my reports are pretty detailed anyway. For example, for this second trial, I did about 150, 160 pages of reports. About half of that was the actual data, and about half of it was the testing, the research, the validation, everything that supported my opinion and my position that I made in my report. So having all that information there is available for the prosecution to read. It's available for the defense to read. Everybody knows where I stand and why I stand there. And it's also useful for me while reviewing my evidence and looking back at it to understand and to remind myself, this is why I have that opinion. I've already tested this. I don't need to think about that too deeply again because it's already on paper. I also try to guess what are the questions that I'm going to be asked. Like, what is the real sticking point of this data?
Why does he have to guess? He should have been so well prepped by both Adam Lally for trial number 1 and Hank Brennan for trial number 2. He shouldn't have to be guessing what the questions are going to be.
The question going to be, and how can I answer it? And there's no possible way that you can cover all bases. There was a few questions caught me out in this trial. But on the whole, I knew what to expect, and I had a good idea what I'd be talking to.
Yeah, I think if you put yourself mentally in both sides of the courtroom, it helps you be a better witness overall.
Yeah. You know
For
what else
sure.
would be a better witness? Also, if you knew if you knew the freezing temperature in Fahrenheit, that probably would have made you a better witness too. Because once you didn't know that and you were testifying in the U.S., I don't know that anybody paid attention to anything else you had to say after that.
Put yourself in the position of the prosecution, of the defense, and of the jury. Like, do they understand, or are they likely to understand what I'm explaining here? How common is this kind of information to somebody who doesn't work in digital forensics?
Exactly. All right. So based upon that, your fourth tip is to tailor your approach on each case.
Yeah, this is really about how to conduct the digital investigation. Like, depending on the kind of case, depends on how you approach the data. The example I typically give is if you've got a victim who's found at home, for example, location data may not be relevant because you know where they are, you know where they've probably been most of the time. But if you find a victim out in the middle of the road, in the field, or somewhere unexpected, then location data becomes a priority because you want to know where they were before this location. Similarly, communication data may not be relevant if you're looking at a vehicle collision, for example. But if you're in more of a domestic situation, then communication could be key. So it's really about tailoring how you conduct the investigation and how you write the report based on the kind of investigation it is. To make
I guess they're making this video for their employees who might have to testify, but they're putting it out on YouTube and it's public. So we're getting the joy of watching it together. But it is embarrassing. I agree.
Focusing on the
yeah, like in the house or the garage. Well, that was important, Ian. Thank you for that.
right elements.
Exactly. And I also think that we aren't sitting at a desk all day, every day being investigators and examiners anymore. We are brought in to do specific things and validation and make sense of data that sometimes then expands to everything. So focusing on.
But then when it doesn't make sense, we just dirty delete our software and we just decide to take all the timestamps because it was never accurate in the first place. Olivia says, I don't even know why Cellebrite is having any of its employees getting involved in law enforcement investigations or testifying as experts. They have a conflict of interest since those are the customers. Yeah.
What's being asked, I think helps, but then speaking up when something doesn't make sense and needs to lead you down another path.
Yes.
All right, your final one. This is advice I could take in my everyday life. Block out the noise.
Yeah, so this particular case was kind of unique to me. Like I've testified in many cases before. Several of those have been relatively high profile, but this was another level. Personally, I found I had to turn off Twitter. I didn't open Twitter or X for probably about 8 months. I was very careful other social media platforms I was using to block out anything that was related to the case. I didn't want to know, basically. I don't want my kind of opinion to be shifted based on what I'm seeing
on Twitter
online.
Trolls?
All I want to know is the data that's put in front of me. That is the data that I have to testify to and understand. I don't need that outside influence. So essentially ignore everything apart from the data.
It also didn't help when you had a team of people reminding you of something they saw. I just saw this tweet. It wasn't helpful to you. So we apologize, Ian.
Oh, so all of you idiots were telling him the things that you were seeing on Twitter, like this person said something really mean about you. They called you a total retard. I'm sorry, you can't use that word anymore. Why are people using that word all of a sudden out there on the social? Is it all of a sudden like okay to say that word? I don't understand. But they're telling him everything that mean people are saying about him.
We had your back all along, but that's what you were so firm in your mind on. Yep, I'm just going to ignore it. Me, I probably would have poured myself a glass of wine and walked right into that chaos and then cried into my wine glass. So good for you.
I
Seriously.
watered
It's
down the wine.
it's a lesson for all of us. But now we're going to do, historically, this has been called mean tweets. And I remember seeing Peyton Manning reading something awful about himself where someone said he looked like a horse. It was terrible to watch these
Oh, that
celebrities.
sounds so fun. Let's pull up
read.
all the mean tweets and all the mean things that people said about Ian, and let's bring them to his attention and worldwide attention. Wow. Somebody said here, Lucy says, ignore anything contrary to your own opinion and quickly reprogram the software. This I did not know. This is news to me. Hang on. Bronx on Hudson said, this woman and her husband went through Brian Koberger's phone and were on Law and Crime and other content creator shows discussing it in detail. Did not know that.
All of this. Ian, you're a celebrity in our household.
Oh.
So I
Do you guys live in the same household? Is he your work husband or is your household the Cellebrite offices? I thought he lives in Canada. I'm very confused. I'm really confused. I thought they work remotely. Now it's their household? Okay. Oops.
am going to read these mean tweets or mean X's, whatever we call it, and see what you think about this. And the names are blurred out. Okay.
Oh, we can probably
If
figure
you
out
want,
who
I
they
can
are.
tell you, sometimes I can see how many views there were.
Don't need to know.
And there's a cuss word, so I'm gonna say beep. Okay. Ian Whiffen
All right.
didn't explain.
I'm gonna read the mean tweets because they have this stupid music that could get me stricken, and then later I'll have to cut it out. So if you're on replay and there's portions of this video cut out, that is why, because it's a music copyright strike. Ian Whiffen doesn't explain blank. He misrepresented data to fit the prosecution's case. He screwed up in the first trial and changed his testimony and the Cellebrite report for the second trial. And it has 79 views. That was July 1st, 2025.
Interesting. I don't believe my position changed at all regarding the Google search in trial 1 and trial 2. And
But did you manipulate your report?
I presented the data from the device and demonstrated my position. Obviously, we changed the tool to reflect the new understanding. But
the new understanding, we changed the tool to reflect the new understanding. The new understanding that Hoss-Long to Die in Cold wasn't really searched at 227. It was really searched in the morning and spelled two different ways until the correct way that it was spelled at 227 was then put into the, browser or whatever. Did you hear what he just said? The new understanding. The understanding that we cannot possibly implicate Jennifer McCabe. Are you, I'm sorry, are you kidding me? Look, listen again. Heather thinks it's funny.
Data from the device and demonstrated my position. Obviously, we changed the tool to reflect the new understanding, but
we changed the tool to reflect the new understanding. They admitted to cheating, says Candy. They're self-snitching. It was a false memory. Wow.
It was unrelated to what the prosecution may have wanted.
What?
Yeah, upgrading your tooling is different than being a tool and modifying a report.
100%.
So thank you for not. Only 79 views, Ian. So the world didn't really even see that person.
Instead of being a tool. Now she's trying to be funny.
Ready? I can't.
Okay, here. Here's the next tweet, the next mean tweet. I can't wait. I want to know what you guys think of the data. Tell Ian Whiffen to get lost and do his job at Cellebrite. Okay, I gotta fast forward a little.
But you did do your job.
I did.
You fixed the tool.
That's so funny.
Oh my gosh. Okay, here's
the
another
tool.
one.
Oh,
Seriously?
He's
I'd
like,
be curious.
I don't even wanna address that. You fixed the tool. Here's the next one. Seriously, I'd be curious to know how many taxpayer dollars were spent solely in attempting to vindicate Jen McCabe. How much was paid to Ian Whiffen and Cellebrite to change their whole software to try to discredit the 2:27 a.m. Google search timestamp? If that's your tweet, take credit for it. And listen to this.
I'm quite happy to answer this one. My flight and my hotel was paid for twice. Other than that, I received and Cellebrite received nothing.
Well, guess what? You weren't hired to testify on behalf of Cellebrite, number one. Number two, when we got a hold of all the bills, because of the amazing FOIA request that was done for all of the invoices from trials number 1 and 2, we were curious too. We were like, wait a second, Ian Whiffen, there's no bill from Ian Whiffen. How much did they pay Ian Whiffen? All they did was pay for his food, his hotel, and his flight twice. He didn't charge them. He was not there on behalf of Cellebrite, though. He wasn't. He was there as a freelancer. As a freelancer. He wasn't paid for his time, or his review, his report. This is crazy. Hold on. Because I remember that too, right? Did we ever find a bill? I know we found one from Jessica Hyde, but I don't think we found one from him. Makazi G says the money came directly from the Hank Bank. Let's hear that again.
I'm quite happy to answer this one. My flight and my hotel was paid for twice. Other than that, I received, and Cellebrite received, nothing.
You know why? You know why? First of all,
I love it.
You can't buy that kind of publicity that he got for his Artec software. He was pushing his own tool is what he was doing. He was pushing his own tool. That's Chaka up in the corner for those of you Gen Xers that may remember him from Land of the Lost. And sometimes we feel like we're in the Land of the Lost. And so then we got to put it up there. And then sometimes we got to put this up there. Hopefully you can read what that says. I baked you some shut the fuck up cakes, little Debbie. Thank you very much, because the cupcakes are here. Wow. He says he didn't get paid. Some of us millennials even remember Land of the Lost, says Kylie Cosmos.
Okay.
Okay.
Doing it because you care about the data.
Doing it
Doing it because I care about my own software and I want to make money and I want to be able to sell my company for tens of millions of dollars. And so hopefully if I get out there in front of a worldwide stage and talk about Artec enough, or Artex or whatever it's called, people will buy it. And then I could leave this shitty job at Cellebrite that's probably paying me under 6 figures a year. And I can, retire. Oh, and then she's going to compare him to Mark Zuckerberg. This gets even weirder. Okay.
was the right thing to do, for sure.
Yeah.
You're doing it because it was the right thing for your company. Oh, here's the BS button. Here you go.
Oh, come on now. That ain't even bullshit. That's horseshit.
Not even a ham sandwich? Listen to this. He did it.
I love it. Okay.
I love it.
Doing it because you care about the data.
Doing it because it was the right thing to do, for sure.
Because it's the right thing to do, for sure. Who's going to dress up like Heather and Ian for Halloween? That's a new Halloween costume for you guys. Anybody who's going to the Turtle Boy Halloween party, please, please. I've only watched, Courtney, this is the first time I'm watching this. I'm watching this with you in real time. I have not watched this before. This is a cold watch for me. I watched the first one because it was only 10 minutes and I had 10 minutes, but I have not watched this one. So.
And not saying who was guilty or who was not. For the record, anyone watching, I used to always
Not say who was guilty or who was not, whether it was Jen McCabe or not, because John McCabe was not by a car.
ask Ian, like, so what do you think? So what do you think? Like, I just wanted his opinion. And Ian's like, well, the data shows this.
Exactly. That's all I can speak to.
All right. Now this one, 54 views. Okay. 54 people around the world saw this. Ian
Whiffen was not credible. Come on. June 20th, 2025.
Whiffen was not credible. Come on. You're not
Okay.
credible, Ian. All right.
Okay. I mean,
Yes.
everyone has an opinion.
59 views.
Next one says, Ian Whiffen didn't destroy anything except Cellebrite's credibility. And yes, my lady, this was done by Cellebrite. It's posted on their YouTube channel, but they're dirty deleting every comment. And if you put a comment in and you can still see it, it's because you can't tell if they delete your comment.
I don't know how to respond to that. I present the data. I believe, from Cellebrite's point of view, we did the right thing. I'll die on that hill.
From Cellebrite?
Well, Cellebrite had your back 100% through and through on all of this. So I feel like our credibility.
So I guess that he did have authority to speak on behalf of Cellebrite, because she's saying, and this is on Cellebrite's YouTube channel, and you can see their really crappy graphics. I mean, it's hard to believe they're a technology company, that they can't do a better background than this. We had your back through all of this. So Cellebrite had his back. If your audio keeps coming out, go out of the stream and come back in. Sometimes that happens. If you're cutting out, try refreshing your browser. Go out and come back in. We had your back through all of this. Well, that's interesting because we were like, he went rogue.
Cellebrite had your back 100% through and through on all of this. So I feel like our credibility skyrocketed because of your brain. So thank you. Seriously,
No.
we are trusted.
You
are
don't really
trusted.
think that, you don't really think your credibility skyrocketed. You guys, for those of you who choose to wait on the cesspool of Twitter and engage, go tell Cellebrite how you think that their credibility has skyrocketed, because they're dirty deleting the comments on YouTube, but I don't think they can delete the ones on Twitter, right? And Olivia says, Heather won't show my tweets about Ian Whiffen with 300,000 views. I know, I'm so humble. Oops. I'll allow it. I don't think is it my audio that's cutting out, or is it just some people are having issues? Can you guys hear me okay? Let me just make sure everything's plugged in properly. Oops. Testing, 1, 2, testing. Okay, go out and come back in. YouTube has been glitchy for a lot of people lately. Okay. Kippy hippie. Again, it's fine for many, many people, except for you. So you need to go out, come back in, and everyone else says it's fine. Okay? Or refresh your browser. Okay? Here we go.
I think our team of experts are more trusted now than ever before.
Oh my God,
because
no.
of
You're insane.
your testimony.
You're insane.
All right. Now there's a new one. Okay. This is the best one. So there's a picture of Mark.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So this one is, there's a picture of Mark Zuckerberg next to Ian Whiffen, and it says, am I on crack, or is Mark Zuckerberg and Ian Whiffen essentially the same damn person, with 700 question marks? Hashtag Karen Reed. Let's see what he says about that.
A little bit. You do look alike in this picture a little bit.
It's a very old picture.
You have the same haircut too, Ian, but you don't make as much money probably.
Guaranteed.
All right. So beyond all these mean tweets and all this ridiculousness and people just being social trolls, in the end, all over the battle of that 2:27 a.m. timestamp, in the second trial, Karen Reed actually said she was not having her defense expert return because Ian Whiffen was right.
Are we going to hear from Richard Green in this trial?
No.
Why not?
I believe the evidence is all out, and in part from Ian Whiffen.
How does that make you feel, Ian, that Karen said your name on the screen and said Ian Whiffen was right?
So, I mean, it was validation. I was already confident in my answer. I knew I was right with it. I was disappointed that the defense didn't put their expert on the stand to put his opinion across and to have that kind of debate and to evidence their position. But Karen saying that I was right is a close second. I'll take it.
So explain to me why Karen Reed thought that the evidence came out through Ian Whiffen. Because number one, Ian Whiffen said he might have gone in the house because he went 80 steps. Ian Whiffen said a lot of very helpful things to the defense. And so Olivia said, no, she didn't. She, who was obviously implying that Ian was so bad that he helped the defense's case. But he also did say, or did show, that John O'Keefe could have gone in the house. Remember? Am I imagining that? She didn't say he was right. She said the evidence got in through Ian. Let's take that back. You're right. Let's take it back and listen to what she said again. They probably chopped it up the way they wanted to hear it anyway.
Why not?
Ian Whiffen was right.
Are we going to hear from Richard Green in this trial?
No.
Why not?
I believe the evidence is all out, and in part from Ian Whiffen.
How does that make you feel, Ian, that
The evidence is all out in part from Ian Whiffen. She didn't say he was right.
Karen said,
I was already confident in my answer. I knew I was right with it. I was disappointed that the defense didn't put their expert on the stand to put his opinion across and to have that kind of debate and to evidence their position. But Karen saying that I was right is a close second. I'll take it.
I love it. And I can't speak on behalf of Karen Reed, but how you did your report and the level of detail on what was on the device versus what was on your test device and how sure you were, that had to prove to her that she didn't need an expert of her own because you were an expert for everyone.
I hope so. I tried to provide a balanced opinion.
They're so delusional. It's funny. Yes, he had a circle showing that the phone could have been in the house, says Mrs. Sarcasm. Right.
I wasn't necessarily there for prosecution. I was there for the data. And whoever it helped, I don't really care. I'm just presenting the data that's there.
I love that.
I love that. He doesn't care who it helped in the end because it did help Karen Reed. And also, he didn't get paid, so he doesn't care. Did they decide they weren't going to pay him after his testimony bombed and was so helpful to the defense? Is that what happened? I love that.
Well, Ian, seriously, thank you for being Cellebrite's top expert in my mind.
In my mind, and in his mind too, I think. And we'll just let it. I'll read the captions to you while the stupid music plays. Seriously, and I'll say that because I saw social media or some public thing recently that Jared and I own Cellebrite. So Ian, you are our favorite expert as an owner of Cellebrite because you know you can't believe everything you read, but all your work that you put into this, all of the efforts, the education that you gave us along the way on your testing. I don't even know that you even consider that, but how much you educated all of us along the way has been phenomenal. We're lucky to be on your team. We love the work that you do. Thank you all for tuning in. But Ian, most importantly, thank you. We appreciate you at Cellebrite. And they couldn't even spell their own name, or they couldn't even be bothered enough to go back and change the closed captionings to reflect the actual correct spelling of their own company. What do you think? Wow. Just wow. Somebody should be following this, the stock price to see if it goes down. Kat Randall, thanks for gifting a membership. I appreciate you so much. Music to My Soul says, wait. Is Ian Whiffen saying that Jen McCabe could have visited that page at 2:27 a.m.? He doesn't know. Yeah, I mean, they had to take the timestamps out because they're just wrong. Right? Thank you for your super chat. Denise Go Blue says there are several comments on Young Jerks and they are hilarious. All right, I'll go do that. Did they go over the videos too? Thank you, Denise Go Blue. I had these, I don't know when I had these, yesterday, but I just needed to stay unplugged for the day. Linda became a new member. Welcome. Ellie's mom says, I'm a software engineer and what they have done is highly unethical. So Amber says, Cellebrite's newest marketing campaign, removing digital footprints, one defendant at a time. Noelle, thanks for being here for 2 months. Says the mean tweets are as good as their timestamp analysis. Yes. Yes. Agreed. I don't think if my audio is skipping for you and only you, go out of the stream and come back in. Refresh your browser, because if my audio is skipping for my mods, they would let me know. And so, YouTube, glitchy. Thank you, Noelle. And Charles says, I hate the term experts because I hate the term experts just by statistics in court. 50% of the experts aren't believable. Thank you, Charles, for tuning in from South Africa and free super chat. Music to My Soul says, motion for Emily C to parody these videos. Oh, you know, she did do a funny diary entry the other day. We'll take a look at that in a second. And she's here for you. She'll do whatever. She's always open to ideas. We love Emily. Sandy Dad says, therapy, broken record, calmly repeats a key phrase. I'm thinking of a different term, though. That's not the one that I'm thinking of. I don't know if it's parroting or something else. It's like when they're trying to close the loop and repeat back to you what you said. I can't think of it. Thank you, Sandy Dad, for your super chat. And Ginny Trioli says, this feels like she is a wannabe romantic partner or actual romantic partner. Somebody else said that she and her husband went out on a Coburger tour. Thanks for hanging with me for 14 months. Olivia also said earlier, conveniently from WHIFFEN's 170-page report, he and Brennan ignored discussing all of the data that directly refuted the prosecution's case, as we learned when Alessi cross-examined him. Yes. Leave the drama at the door said, 4-point plan to appear stupid. Oh, look at, not that Dina coming in with a hot $50 super chat. Thank you so much. She says, you're everything I needed tonight. And just FYI, every time you get jacked and muss your hair, it just looks pretty or jealous. Oh, it's not me. It's the Dyson Airwrap. Really, highly recommend. It's in my Amazon list, which is linked below this video. It's expensive, but your hair is something that you wear every single day. And so really, it's worth it, especially if you have a lot of girls living in your house like I do. Thanks, not that Dina, for your very generous 50. Hey, it's me, says drama disclaimer. I've been forever. I am not, nor do I endorse, even if I agree. The new user, hey, it's me. Love to all. Thank you. Thank you for your 5. New Jersey girl became a member. Welcome. Amora Valesti says they changed the tool to reflect their new understanding that they can't fool our community and the jury and won't get their bonus unless they do. Thank you for your 5. Cosgrove's reverse mortgage. This is one of the funniest usernames out there. It says people convicted on the old understanding may have an issue. Maybe, yeah. 100%. How many lawsuits are we going to see against Cellebrite? I don't know. A couple. ShamWow. Thanks for your 10 from Canada. 227 speaks for itself. No argument needed. Ian Whiffen put John's phone in the house thanks to Cross of Mr. Alessi. Yep. And also there was some stuff about the temperature data, right? That there's no way the phone could have been outside in that freezing cold and only gotten down to a certain temperature. It had to have been somewhere else, like in the garage or the basement or somewhere else. Pierce says, here's the thing. Whether Jen McCabe searched at 2:27 or 6 a.m., she had Kerry lie about Karen asking her to search how long to. That to me, or Haas long to. That to me is the most important, impactful point. It was an odd search, right? Tennessee Jed said, retweeted Olivia's and did a new tweet to celebrate, saying, Gwen's stitch bout for lawsuits. I think she was saying he helped the defense. Yeah. Sounded like it. We love you so much. We love you so much, Ian. You're a big celebrity around here. Free Kelsey Fitzsimmons says, Mel, our playlist has become so voluminous. Vocab bonus right there. Well done, girl. Soon we may need multiple playlists scored by genre, topping the hip-hop dance genre. I'm voting for things that make you go, Leave the drama at the door says, why are they doing this now? Very suspect. I don't know. Or like maybe some of their contracts are coming up, like with law enforcement. And maybe they're all going to pivot to something else like, Axiom or Magnet software. I don't know. Weird, right? And thank you also, Leave Drama at the Door, for gifting a membership. You're awesome. Haas long until the Jets win a game? I don't know. LowTube's most hated mod. You may be waiting a while. Thank you for gifting. And Detective 1111 said, you look fabulous. The hair is giving me life. I know. Dyson Airwrap. I'm telling you too. This hair is like, I don't wash my hair very often. I just take the Dyson to it because they say it's not good for your hair to wash it too much, they say. Thank you very much for your compliment. Ajira says that, hang on, I found it. It was here. Heather Barnhart lied through her teeth in Brian Koberger's case. Cellebrite has lost all credibility. Oh, so do you think this is like they're trying to do damage control? Thank you, Lex, for gifting a membership. I appreciate you so much. Olivia said, haha, they were hired to find incriminating evidence on Karen and Aiden's phones. Oh, were they hired? Olivia says, were they hired to find incriminating evidence on Karen's and Aiden's phones? I don't know. Do you think Krupp is going to allow it? Do you think Krupp is going to allow the search of Karen's phone? I do. I think he's wrong, but I think he's going to allow it, especially since, and I can't believe Karen's attorney didn't bring this up in his argument, especially since Cannoni already ordered them to release the phones, right? So I have questions. Kibby Ibby says, all to help Jem McCabe. Legit. Even if he put John in the house, the Commonwealth had to protect Jem McCabe at all costs. You guys do? You think Krupp's going to allow it? I Need Some Z's says yes. Letter Rose by Better Rose says yes. Dr. Jen and Toxic says yes. Yeah, right? That redhead. It's an active listening technique known as reflecting back what you heard. Thank you. Ms. Smith says, how does this impact Turtle Boy's cases? Isn't Cellebrite admitting their software was unreliable? It's reasonable that Turtle Boy believed 227 happened. Yeah, that's a good point. Bettero, if you're watching, quickly, Olivia, download those videos so that you can hyperlink them in your next mega motion. Right? So there's that. Mitchell says, follow the money. Who paid for the video? Well, that's a good point. It's on Cellebrite's YouTube channel. I don't know how you can trust any of the data now. Whispering Wind says if they're trying to do damage control, they put the two dumbest idiots on their channel. What a horrible idea. Yeah, no, it's not a great idea, was it? You guys says yes. You guys all say yes. Ms. Holmes? Mafka? Kristen says, yes. Ann says, wish I was lucky enough for a gifted membership. It's totally random. So Ann, just keep participating in the chat and hopefully you'll get lucky. Hopefully you'll get lucky. We're up all night to get lucky. Carol says, unfortunately, I think so too. Yeah, and Krupp is hearing Bettero's mega motion. I don't know what the hell's going on over there. Somebody already changed their name to Aaron Spencer for sheriff. I love it. Bailey says they were hired to delete the 227 search, and very many of you say yes in the chat that you think Krupp is going to allow it. Bridget says maybe they're doing this because of the Karen Reed civil case and Turtle Boy. It's interesting. Interesting. Can't make this up says, how can we trust any of the data? Yeah, maybe Buzang will put that on his next motion, says I'm gummy, damn it. And there he is. He's here. I'm just keeping the people company, keeping the people warm until you're going on at 9:30. Aiden's here. Yeah. We know Olivia's already working on this, but they've admitted their software was wrong. And that's going to affect a lot of cases before yours. For however long that version of that software has been out with the timestamp on it, it's been wrong. Clanging on the jailhouse doors right now. As they should be. Ann says, how is it that Wendy Adelson got her phone back from being downloaded before she left her first interrogation after Dan Markell was murdered? Well, I got a better example for you, right in the same exact county. In Norfolk County, Brian Walsh, who is on trial, or well, now he's confined to Bridgewater State Hospital for at least 20 days to do a competency evaluation, but he is indicted for the murder of his wife, Anna, who went missing out of Cohasset, which is in Norfolk County. And they took his phones and his iPads, or his son's iPad, and they downloaded everything and they returned them to him within 18 hours. And so, yes, I have a lot of questions about all of that because they will do anything apparently to try and pin something on the girl and something on the turtle. Because if they don't, it opens up a lot of other people to liability and perhaps criminal charges. And just, if you don't live there, feel lucky that you don't. And Michael Easter said the search has happened, said Bailey. And Ms. Holmes says, don't understand Buzang's angle. He left so much out. Girl, I was screaming at the TV too. Cellebrite handled the Crumbly trial. We did cover the Crumbly trial together, right? The mom's trial. Aaron Spencer for sheriff wishes he got a membership too. Hang on. I saw somebody like gift memberships on their own channel once, but I don't know how to do that. I'm not like technologically very, very savvy, like at all. and I can't do it. I don't know how, unless I have to use my computer button account. I made the mistake today of watching one ADHD video on YouTube, and now I'm convinced that I have it, and it's been undiagnosed my entire life. And number two, now my entire algorithm has shifted to every single ADHD video that there is. It was Auntie Deb. Yeah, Jimmy did it. I don't know how he did it. I don't know. We're up all night to get lucky. We're up all night to get some. Makazi G is, him and his lady going square dancing. And Sullied intent folder gives him a membership too. I know everyone's saying they were diagnosed with ADHD at 48. I mean, I just thought I just was like easily distracted and didn't really care about paying attention. But that's not like the only symptom. Like there are other symptoms too. Like just like the inability to throw things away. I'm not a hoarder by any means, but I'm always like, oh, maybe I'll use this so I don't throw it away. So every year I get a dumpster and I put it in my garage and I clean out the 3-car garage that has all this stuff in it that I know that I am never, ever, ever going to use. Why? Why is it like you just can't throw stuff away? Like maybe I'll use this or clothes even. No one of the 3 gifted 5 memberships. Thank you, lovies. All right, well, we're not done yet because there's more. Tell me what else. If you have any further thoughts about Ian Whiffen's ridiculous interview, if you even call it an interview, it was totally scripted. On Cellebrite's YouTube channel, let me know. You can't leave comments there, so don't even try. But if you choose to wait on the cesspool of Twitter or engage there, I do not, as you know. But maybe clip a part of it and put it up there and tag them. I don't know. It's wild. Why now? Why now? Why are you admitting that your software was just wrong? It's wild. All right. Kelsey, let's go to Kelsey. We're going to pivot to Kelsey Fitzsimmons right now. Okay. Ready, set, go. Kelsey Fitzsimmons' mother and stepfather have made a motion in the probate court for grandparents' visiting time. I am not a Massachusetts lawyer, as you know. I am a New York lawyer, born and bred for over 30 years. And apparently, most of you know about Kelsey Fitzsimmons, so I won't take 10 minutes to explain it to you. Apparently, Justin is not allowing Kelsey's parents, or at least her mom and stepfather, to see the baby. Okay, so they've made a motion in probate court to see the baby. And it's weird because I don't see it on the docket. One of you sent it to me. It is timestamped. I mean, it is stamped, filed. So it's filed. Are they going to have a hearing? Has it already been decided? I don't really know. But the law with respect to grandparents' rights when the couple whose child it is unmarried seems to be a little bit fuzzy. And so if we have any family law practitioners in here who are knowledgeable on the law, and don't guess, I need someone with actual knowledge with regard to grandparents' rights when the couple whose child it is unmarried, let me know. But in the meantime, I'll just show you the papers. Amber says, I believe creators are given 10 a month to give out by YouTube. I had no idea. Girl, I've been doing this for over 2 years. Nobody ever told me that. Every time I did that, I have to, I've had to pay. So if that's true, that's great. And they should do that because I would love to gift them. So here we go. This is a motion for temporary orders. I just want to make sure that I properly redacted this. This is a motion for temporary orders in Essex County Probate and Family Court. And it's stamped, filed October 2nd, 2025. That is the docket number for her probate and family court case. That's weird to me because in New York, we have 2 separate courts. One is for probate. That's for wills and estates. And the other court, it's surrogates court. And then there's a court for family court. Well, it's a whole different court for custody and issues like that. So I don't know. It's just weird to me that it's all in one court together. Like, I don't know, but they didn't ask me. This isn't the matter of, I've redacted the child's name, but the child was born in February. So the child is however many months that is from February until now. Now comes the petitioner, and this is Lauren and William, the maternal grandparents of the above named minor child, and respectfully moves this honorable court for temporary orders granting visitation while this case is pending. In support thereof, the petitioner states as follows. The petitioners are the biological grandparents of the minor child, who has the last name Alayan, date of birth 2/16/25. The petitioners have had a long-standing, loving, and supportive relationship with the child, including weekly visits, Sunday dinners, caregiving, regular contact, financial and emotional support, and family holidays. Since June 30th of 2025, the petitioner's visitation has been unreasonably restricted or denied by Justin Alayan, or Alayan. Denial of contact between the petitioners and the child is causing harm to the child's emotional well-being and is not in their best interest. It is in the best interest of the child that they continue to have consistent and meaningful contact with their grandparents during the pendency of this case. The petitioners therefore request that this court grant a temporary order for visitation on the following schedule: every other weekend from Friday at 6 p.m. until Sunday at 6 p.m. And that's what they're asking for. And they signed off on that, and they filed it back on, what did I say, October 2nd. And to my knowledge, it has not been decided yet. So it seems like Justin does not want her parents to see the baby. I think that's terrible. It seems that from the brief research that I was able to do, as in most states, it is the best interests of the child that come into play here. But there are special rules for when the parents are not married. And I hate AI, and I don't like to rely on it, but so take this for what it's worth. But according to the AI overview on Google, it says, in Massachusetts, unwed parents' circumstances can qualify grandparents for visitation rights, but the process is challenging because the law does not grant automatic rights. To file a petition, the grandparents must show the child's mother and father live apart. Well, they do, because Kelsey's in jail in Chicopee and Justin is living with his parents. And paternity has not been established through a court judgment or voluntary acknowledgement of paternity, or they must show either parent is unfit. To win, grandparents must overcome a legal presumption that their visits are not in the child's best interest by proving through clear and convincing evidence that denial of visitation would cause significant harm to the child's health, safety, or welfare, as explained by Mass.gov and Lynch and Owens PC. And it says, how to petition for visitation, file a petition for visitation with the court. The maternal grandparent, that is the maternal grandparent in this case, can file unless paternity has been established by a court judgment or voluntary acknowledgement of parentage. I don't know if he has signed a voluntary acknowledgement of parentage. I would imagine that he has, because he currently, Justin, has custody of the child that was given to him by a probate court judge. And so I don't know whether or not he signed the birth certificate. Okay. So that's a voluntary declaration of parentage, right? They were engaged to be married. They were supposed to be married last weekend. Good Citizen says, I am the grandmother to parent teens. It's crazy. Oh my gosh. And that baby, the baby. Good Citizen's 5-month-old is amazing. A grandchild is adorable. Totally adorable. Most talkatives. Oh, that's Texas. Okay. Yeah, we're talking about, they should be granted it, but look, it's Massachusetts. It's the land of loss. It's upside down, inside out. Narnia of Massachusetts, land of the lost. So we'll see what happens with that motion. The next hearing in probate court for Kelsey is going to be I think it's in November. Let's put it in my calendar. Oh, please. November 13th, I have probate court motion day. Judge Mary Black. I think her name's Mary Black. And a couple of you wrote to me and said she's a really good judge. So fingers crossed, prayers up for Kelsey. And the fact that they ripped a breastfeeding infant away from her mother without her having the opportunity to be heard in the interest of, due process, the Constitution and all. Should be important, but sometimes I feel like we're in the crazy town. ShamWow from Canada says every Commonwealth expert was a gift to Karen. Thank you for your super chat. Leave the drama at the door, gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so very much. And Sullied Intent Folder gifted 1 and No Need 3 gifted 5. I think I thanked you guys, but I forgot to unstar them. So I can never thank you too much. I can never thank you too much. You're amazing. Something else that had happened was on Brian Walsh. The Commonwealth has moved for a November trial date. They want the trial in November because they say they got to get a whole bunch of witnesses to come in from out of the country and out of state, and they got to start scheduling their witnesses. So if Brian Walsh is found to be competent, they want a November trial date. Let me see if I can find that for you. But I mean, I have a lot of questions, okay? Who are all these people coming in from out of state, California, Israel, Australia, that the Commonwealth is going to pay to fly to Massachusetts to testify in Brian Walsh's case? What could they possibly have to say? What could they possibly have to say that's going to help the Commonwealth against Brian Walsh? I have so many questions. What do you think? What do you think that they are actually going to be able to say? Okay, CM says, my parents just tried the same motion and it's almost impossible in Massachusetts. Okay, this is interesting. Hang on. Thank you, CM, for chiming in. My parents just tried the same motion and it's almost impossible in Massachusetts. They have a trial date after waiting 1 year for a court hearing, even with the mother not following DCF and SA to risk the child. Oh my God, I'm so sorry that's happening to your family. Tell him the guy never went in the house. All right, let's take a look at the new papers on Brian Walsh's case. And for those of you who don't get the reference, the papers, show me the papers, go get the papers. That's Jimmy 2 times. Jimmy 2 times from Goodfellas? Jimmy 2 times, Jimmy 3 times? I don't know. Here it is, the Commonwealth's motion to schedule a trial date in November of 2025. And this is in Brian Walsh, and this is a procedural history, which says as follows. The defendant is charged with murder in violation of General Law 265-1, misleading police, and willfully conveying a body without authority in violation of 272. On November 6th, 2024, the matter was assigned to Judge Diane Frenier for all purposes, because remember, Judge Cannoni had it before that. On December 2nd, 2024, and October 20th, 2025, the trial date was assigned. On October 3rd, 2025, the defendant filed a motion to continue the trial date, in part due to concerns about the defendant's psychological health after a September 11th, 2025 assault at the Norfolk House of Correction. It's like they say it like it's the House of Pancakes. The Norfolk House of Corrections. The Commonwealth filed an opposition. On October 6th of 2025, after evaluation by a court clinician, the defendant was committed to Bridgewater State Hospital for evaluation of competency to stand trial under General Law 123. Yeah, Goodfellas, Jimmy 2 times. Got to get the papers, got to get the papers, got to get the papers. So J. Lou, 123, just so you know, you can see your comment. If your comment is deleted, you can't see it, but for other people, it will show no comments. So she says she commented to ask Ian to convert Celsius to Fahrenheit, but I am here to tell you that you will not see that your comment is deleted, but everyone else will see 0 comments. So if somebody can just go in to that ask the expert and see if there's still 0 comments, people don't know that you deleted their comment. So there's that. On October 6, 2025, after evaluation by, all right, wait, I don't know where I was here. On October 6th, after evaluation by a court clinician, the defendant was committed to Bridgewater State Hospital for evaluation of competency to stand trial under General Law 123. The Commonwealth is confirming the availability of witnesses for November, December 25 in anticipation of a trial this calendar year if the defendant is competent. The Commonwealth must summons its witnesses and cannot begin that process without a trial date being assigned. The Commonwealth anticipates summoning at least 7 witnesses from out of state, and summoning those out-of-state witnesses will be logistically challenging as it requires action by this court, coordination with prosecutors and police officers not associated with the Norfolk DA's office and courts in other states. Setting a trial date prior to the defendant's return from Bridgewater State Hospital will allow the out-of-state process to begin and allow the Commonwealth to be prepared for trial in November 2025 if the defendant is competent. Further, setting a trial date now will give counsel, advocates, and witnesses time to plan, make travel arrangements, make child, elder, or other care arrangements, and schedule time away from work. Footnote 1. The Commonwealth recognizes that if the defendant is not competent, trial cannot commence, but it is the experience of counsel that witnesses are better able to adjust to continuances of trial dates than scramble to accommodate a trial date on short notice. And, he's right about that. Because they can give their jobs notice that they have to go somewhere to testify in a trial. And it's prudent. Brian Walsh is absolutely a con man, Patricia White. I 100% agree with you. He absolutely is a con man. The Commonwealth requests that a trial date be set as soon as possible so that if the defendant is competent, the Commonwealth will have had sufficient time to complete out-of-state witness process and be prepared for trial in 2025. Footnote 2 says, this matter is next in court on October 20th, 2025 at 2 p.m. before Judge Krupp, right? That's on the Proctor Communications. And on October 27th at 9 a.m. before Judge Frenier, right? That's for a competency hearing. The Commonwealth also requests that a date be set for hearing on pretrial motions, including the defendant's motion for change of venue, motions regarding impoundment procedure, and motions in lemonade. XOXO, Greg Connor, Tracy Cusick, and Yaz. And so that was just filed October 10th, which was Friday. And that is the latest on Brian Walsh. Yes, I did see that. Somebody pointed that out. Carol Erskine, she's a retired judge, right, from Massachusetts, was tweeting that the Walsh children may be in DCF custody somewhere. I don't have any confirmation of that. I have no idea where the Walsh children are, but my heart breaks for them. They were 2, 4, and 6 when Anna went missing. And Brian's mother was in the picture. I think that Anna's relatives all live in Serbia, maybe. And I know she's been tweeting about that, but I have not. Somebody sent it to me. I haven't had a chance to deep dive into it. Thoughts, questions, comments, concerns. Tom Gully says the judicial system in Massachusetts has gotten so bad they just need to declare threat level midnight. Another question that I have for you, my chat. Hang on, let me close some windows here because I'm getting a draft. Hang on. Maybe that's why I'm glitching, but most people said I wasn't glitching, including the mods. So I think it was just YouTube's issue. Sounds like a YouTube issue. Did anybody watch Unknown Number on Netflix? I don't want to give it away, but like if you haven't watched it already, maybe you're not going to watch it. I don't know. But I'm so spun out by that. I did not follow that case when it was like in the news at all. I mean, how did they like get those people to be interviewed? At first I thought it was actors. I'm like, okay, they hired actors. This is like it's going to be like a Discovery ID recreation thing. And it's going to be like just actors playing them, the people that were involved in this catfishing thing. Yeah. It's wild. No, little cupcake. The children would not be in Serbia. They absolutely would not be able to leave the country. Absolutely not. No way. No how. That's impossible. Black Rabbit was good too, right? Yeah, I am really, really, really spun out by that unknown number thing. I am horrified. I mean, how about this? If you haven't watched it and you intend on watching it, just say goodnight, because I need to talk about it with you guys. I need to talk about it. So if you don't, this is a spoiler alert chance for you. If you don't want to know what it's about or how it ends, you are free to go. I won't hold it against you. I love you with all of my heart. And we're going to cover something tomorrow. I'm just not sure what yet. What I really want to do is get into that Dennis Bateman case, the one that's going to be argued in front of the SJC on Tuesday, and talk about the issues there so that we can watch the oral arguments on Tuesday. Because I really want to do that. What time is Donna Adelson's sentencing tomorrow? Does anybody know? And like, Columbus Day is a federal holiday, or at least it used to be. So I don't even understand why courts are closed in New York for Columbus Day. So why is court open in Florida tomorrow? And why are they going to sentence Donna Adelson on Columbus Day? I don't know. At 3:00 in the afternoon? Okay, good. So we can do early. And then if anybody wants to go watch Donna Adelson sentencing, you'll be free to go by 3 p.m. to watch it. All right. So here's the oh yeah, I was in Evil Lives Here. I absolutely was. That was so old. That was like 5 years, at least 5 years ago, maybe more. Thank you for watching. Apparently it's on every now and then, because every now and then I'll get like text messages from people who are like, "Oh my God, I think I see you on Evil Lives Here." Yeah, it was the Carl Carlson case, and I was the wife of the guy who killed the son. And it was so fun because it took place in like the 80s. All the wardrobe was like 80s, and it was like no makeup, and it was like very raw, and it was like, but we filmed that like, I want to say like 6 or 7 years ago. I can't believe they're still airing it. It's like the gift that keeps on giving, without residuals, because that's non-union work. But it's called Evil Lives Here. It's on Discovery ID, and I can't believe it was on the other day, right? Did you send me an email? Somebody did. And we filmed that in New Jersey at a horse farm. And it was like in the middle of summer. It was 120 degrees in the shade. It was so hot. I think I'm sweaty throughout that whole entire show. But it was so fun. It was so fun to shoot that. And I had a great time. And I made a lot of good friends and people who are still directors and DPs. And it was really good. All right. So okay, so that was your spoiler alert, and now I'm going to spoil it for you. So if you're here, don't blame me. Unknown number is about a girl who's in high school. I think she's like 13 or 14. And she has a boyfriend, and he's like 13 or 14 too. And the girl and her boyfriend start getting these crazy text messages from an unknown number. And it goes on for like 2 years. Okay. They get the school involved, they get the FBI involved, and the messages to the girl are horrific. Like, nobody wants your disgusting anorexic ass, and tease, and a lot of TNA talk, a lot of BJ talk, a lot of horrible, horrible things. And it seems like whoever's doing it is trying to break the girl and her boyfriend up. And so the like principal starts like reviewing footage from the hallways in the school and being like, "When are you getting these messages? We'll look at the footage in the hallway to see which students are texting." It was like in some small town in Michigan. And it goes on for like 2 years, right? Almost 2 years. And they can't figure out like who's doing it. But in the end, they finally do find out who's doing it, because they get a guy. Was it like an FBI guy? I don't remember. Yeah, it was telling her to take her own life. Take your own life. Nobody likes you. Everybody hates you. They were coming like all night long in the middle of the night. neither one of these parents, neither the parents of the boyfriend or the girlfriend took their phone away, got them a new phone number. Wouldn't that be the first thing you would do is get them a new phone number? They couldn't block the unknown number because it was an unknown number. The FBI guy, right, figured it out. He took total extractions of phones and he finally figured it out. It's a true story. This is a true story. It was in Michigan. And, you know, the parents are like blaming this one girl who's on the basketball team because there was one text that said something about I scored 12 points. And the girl's mother was like the scorekeeper for the basketball team. So they were able to see who scored 12 points and they were like blaming it on that girl. And there were other kids who were like targeted and like fingered like the cousin of the boy. I think it was Lauren and Owen. Were those their names? And like the texts were coming like around the clock, hundreds and thousands. And eventually like it became too much. And the guy just was like, listen, I can't date you anymore. We got to break up. Maybe it'll stop if we break up because clearly that's what this person wants. And so then he started dating another girl like in another town, like really far away. And all of a sudden that girl's mother started getting text messages from the unknown number. And it was like horrible things saying about her daughter and the boy. And it was horrible. So eventually the FBI gets involved and eventually they do like total extractions on the phones and they were able to trace the IP address and the IP address and all of the text messages, it turned out, came from the girl's mother. The girl's own mother had been terrorizing her for almost 2 years with these vile text messages telling her to take her own life, telling her nobody likes you, you're ugly, horrific things. Horrific things. Her own mother. And then apparently the mother got sentenced to some kind of jail time. I think they gave her like 18 months. The texts were coming from inside the house. Yeah. And then I guess the parents were still married at the time. Refresh my recollection. Were the parents? I just watched it like last night. I don't know how I forgot already, but it left me so spun. I want to go back and watch the ending again. I think that the girls, Lauren's parents were still married, right? And then the FBI called the dad and they're like, yeah, you got to come home. We found out that the text messages were coming from your wife. And by the way, she lied to you when she told you she was still working because she got fired from her job a long time ago, like both her jobs. And I felt so bad for the dad because he came home and it was like, I don't know if this was a real reaction or they were just, I think they were probably like reenacting it because the woman, I guess, was out of jail. How did she like have the cojones to even show her face on the Netflix special and be interviewed? How did she even, they're divorced now. Yeah, praise be. But like, how did she have is she that much of a narcissist? Cyber stalking. It was cyber stalking was the crime. How did she is she so narcissistic that she really, really wanted to be on this Netflix documentary about her own crimes and her own terrorization of her daughter? It was horrific. I think it's like a form of Munchausen. And that's how somebody described it. Like she wanted her daughter to feel horrible and then come home and need her mother. It was so disgusting. And then the boy's mother was like, oh yeah, I always thought there was a little something weird about her. Like she seemed to give my son too much attention and maybe she had the hots for him. I mean, I'm really spun out by that. And I can't imagine that the daughter but I felt like the daughter wanted to still have a relationship with her mother. And I was like, I mean, it's complicated. Yes. But your mother wanted you to kill yourself. And your mother was after your boy. And there is so disgusting. And that mother is so twisted. Yeah. The mother seemed to think it wasn't a big deal. She didn't think she did anything wrong. She was like, well, I was bored, right? What did she say? I was bored. I got to go watch it again because I'm so spun out by it. Did they pay her a lot of money? Is that how they got her on the show? The daughter still has a relationship with her mother. She's out of jail. I mean, if you haven't watched it, I'm sorry I spoiled it for you, but I assume if you're still here that you already watched it. Yeah, but she's my mom. She said, yeah. That woman should have got so much more time than 18 months, says Georgia. She should have been committed to a psychiatric institution at the university level. Narcissistic abuse, says Miss Jessica. Songbits Laura said, broke my heart. The daughter still wanted mom more than the dad. Yeah. Wow. Kraken Studios like, I was on Zoom for an hour. You're still live? Come on. Come on. It's only 3 hours. What do you think this is? Some 2-bit amateur operation? When we're on trial, we go 8 hours a day. This is nothing. This is nothing. Oh, thank you, Columbo Wannabe. Take a look at that. Well, that's for me to how to enable gifted memberships so that my viewers can give gifted memberships. It doesn't tell me how to gift memberships myself. And it is turned on so that other people can gift them. I want to be able to gift them to you. I don't see that option there. But thank you for doing the Lord's work for me. I appreciate that very much. Linda said I watched. The mother made excuses for herself. Grace Bay says she was sending her daughter hundreds of emails from jail. Ugh. Feather says it is called hurt rescue. Yeah, like sometimes how an arsonist will set a fire and then like go back and rescue everyone from the fire, right? Right. The mother says she didn't start the text messages, right? She just continued it after they stopped. And I don't believe that either. Black Rabbit is also it's on Netflix too, right? I think. Hold on, Mavka, I'll see if I can do that. Maybe I have to be on my laptop and not on my not on my phone. Hang on. $. Hold please. In chat, click the $ membership options free bundle. Hold on. Oh, I can send 10 for you're amazing. Thank you. Here we go. Ready? I'm going to send 5 now. On your mark, get set, go. Woohoo! Thank you. Thank you, Mavka. I'm able to give 10 a month. That must be a new thing because it would never used to be like that. Let's see if anybody who really, 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 really wanted them got them. Yay! Oh, you guys were so collaborative here. I love you so much. Thank you, Mavka. Yeah, the woman's a psychopath. She's absolutely a psychopath. So here's who got them. Let's see. KH, Feather, Wendy G, Sumo, and Kiki. Congratulations, it worked. Yay! It's free bundle Sunday. Woohoo! And the Goodmans are here. Thank you, Goodmans. Thank you, Goodmans. For your super chat with a heart. That's really cool. Look at Jimmy's teaching me something I don't know. He doesn't even know how to like let people like redirect to him, I think. Or is that Will? It's probably Will. Will doesn't know how to do that either. So I can never like teleport you over to Will's stream because he doesn't allow it and he doesn't know how to allow it. But we can do a cupcake invasion on someone because Aiden's doing his show tonight instead of last night. And that's on until 9:30. But that whole show like really, really freaked me out and I don't like it. And so there we go. Will fixed it. Oh, he did? Feather got it. Feather's like, yeah, thank you. Sunday, Monday. Sunday, fun day. Well, you know, I like to support the creators that support me. So that's usually how I pick where to go because I think it's 9:30. I think it's 9:30. Wait, let me just check. This is 9:30. Let me check. Yeah, tomorrow we're going to start on the Dennis Bateman appeal so that we can watch the oral arguments on Tuesday. And I'm not sure exactly what time tomorrow yet, but I'm going to say like maybe around 10. If I can get all the reading done tonight. It's a lot of reading for me. Aiden Show, yeah, is at 9:30. So that's Turtle Boy Live at 9:30. And we'll do that. Thoughts, questions, comments, concerns before we wrap. Oh, wait, one more other thing. Hold on. On Francis Gigliotti. Tim Bradel did a press release asking that they appoint an independent prosecutor. So he issued a press release on Friday afternoon after we wrapped. Let me pull it up for you. And then remember we talked about the acting chief. They had an acting chief over there in whatever the hell Essex County. The acting chief also was removed. So I don't know who the chief is now of police over there in Haverhill, but it's crazy. Here it is. Here is Tim Bradel's press release from Friday to all media outlets from Timothy J. Bradel, Esquire, from October 10th. And he's the attorney for the family of Francis Gigliotti. He says, on behalf of the Gigliotti family, I'm publicly calling for the immediate appointment of an independent prosecutor with no pre-existing contacts with the Essex County District Attorney or the Haverhill Police Department. There have been too many troubling and questionable events transpiring in the matter that warrant outside investigation. I do not believe it is appropriate for the local district attorney's offices in the Commonwealth to be investigating deadly force incidents involving the very same police departments with which they work on thousands of cases a year. I know from over a decade of prosecutorial experience that the bonds created between police and prosecution teams are very strong, and that local prosecutors cannot simply flip a switch and investigate wrongdoing on the part of the same officers they were supporting and defending in countless other cases in a common cause. Well, that's interesting. Do you think he'll make a motion on Kelsey Fitzsimmons? Because it's the same exact issue, except in this case, he represents the family of the victim. And in Kelsey's case, he represents Kelsey, but it's the same thing. The DA, they're both Essex County. And the DA in Essex County is investigating a deadly force incident involving North Andover PD in Kelsey's case. And they've worked with them on thousands of cases, right? Nor can local district attorneys appoint a friend or a former law partner as a so-called special prosecutor due to a conflict and then claim to be objective and transparent while still controlling their payments, hiring, and firing. We call on that practice to end in the Commonwealth. Right. I think Bradel's also maybe, intimating that, Mello, Cosgrove, everybody's a crony of Marcy, and that's who they appointed. That's how they appointed the special prosecutor in Aiden Carney's cases. What say you? He goes on to say, the only truly transparent means to hire a special prosecutor is to consult with another county district attorney with no Haverhill ties and receive a sworn appointment of another professional prosecutor or through the Attorney General's office. The Gigliotti family and the public deserve no less. Haverhill Mayor Melinda Barrett stated the following on July 14th of 2025. The city of Haverhill mourns the loss of Mr. Gigliotti, a lifelong resident. Mr. Gigliotti, his friends and family, and the public deserve a thorough and transparent investigation of his death. Since this statement, the tragic death of an officer involved in this matter has occurred, and the police chief has resigned amidst searing criticism from the police union. The officer's father has accused the now former police chief of holding a closed-door meeting with all 7 officers involved and placed on leave in the matter. If this is true, it is at best a highly inappropriate means of investigation, and at worst, witness tampering or obstruction of justice. This is not transparent investigation. The mayor must immediately take further steps to make her July 14th aspiration a reality for the death investigation concerning Mr. Gigliotti. Yes, exactly. Also the taint team, because the taint team is tainted, Becky. In response to these recent events, yesterday, Mayor Barrett began the process of hiring an independent third-party investigator to look into the operations of the Haverhill Police Department. Their police officers' health and well-being are of utmost importance, and we are making sure they have access to the care they need. I am encouraged that the mayor is concerned enough to take this step to bring an independent investigator in for the many challenges faced by her police department. And then all in bold type, it says, why can't the Gigliotti family have the same consideration? I call on Mayor Barrett to join me in urging District Attorney Paul Tucker, a former Salem, Massachusetts police chief himself, to step away from this investigation in favor of a truly independent investigator from outside of Essex County. Period. Only then can my clients and the public benefit from true transparency. Wait, talk to me. Wasn't Enrique Delgado Garcia? Didn't his death also occur in Essex County? And didn't Paul Tucker step away from that because Enrique Delgado Garcia was a victim witness advocate for that DA's office? Or am I thinking of a different county? I don't know. The chat just froze on me. So I don't know. I'm speaking into the ether. Only then can my clients and the public benefit from true transparency. Or was that Worcester County? Was it Worcester? Was that Joe Early? Yeah, maybe that's what it was, Joe Early. Okay. But we saw that happen, right? So we saw Joe Early, I think, step away and say, I can't, I have a conflict. Somebody else has to investigate this. Right. All right. And then it says here, only then can my clients and the public benefit from true transparency. For media inquiries, please call Timothy Bradel at this number. Interesting, right? No wonder. Tim Bradel is calling for changes everywhere, and he's calling for this practice to end in the entire state of Massachusetts, not just the county. The state is Joe Early, right? Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. I think that's pretty much everything I've got for you tonight, my friends. Thoughts, questions, comments, concerns before we wrap. My voice is getting tired. Look at me. I gifted 5 memberships. Yay, me. Thanks, Mozzie, for your super sticker from all the way down under. And no drama, Mama She. Also, thank you for your super sticker. I think we've had no drama tonight. I think we've been able to stay away from the drama, right? Yeah, there's a civil case trial, a civil trial starting right now. Thank you very much to Pure Duckery who sent this to me. I just don't have time to read the whole entire article. It's in the Boston Globe, so I'm going to direct you there. I'm going to pull it up quickly because I'm really running out of gas. And there's a civil trial that is starting right now. I think it started on Friday. So thank you to Pure Duckery for pointing this out to me. Did I have this pulled up already? Hang on. And this is also a good example of how long it takes for civil cases to get to trial, because this case is from 2016 and the trial has just started. And you can check the Boston Globe, or if you want me to, I'll link the article below, because for some people, the Boston Globe is behind a paywall and all that stuff. So wait, hang on. This is a trial in Suffolk County, not to be confused with Suffolk County, New York, Suffolk County, Massachusetts. So there's an MSP race gender discrimination trial that started on Friday. The plaintiff's name is Lisa. I looked this up earlier. Hold on, Lisa Bender. Wait, let me see. So it's in Suffolk Superior Court. It just started on Friday. It's expected to last weeks. And it's going to include testimony from current and former MSP officials. In a wood-paneled courtroom on Friday, a jury heard opening statements and then testimony in the long-awaited discrimination suit. Lawyers representing the state police sought to frame the case in simple terms and asked the jury to use their own common sense to come to the conclusion that these were normal hiring processes free of discrimination. But the plaintiff's lawyers sought to have the jury ready to listen closely to complex expert opinions and data analysis they say will show systemic issues. And I think specifically, there are allegations against women in the police force. I'll scroll through this slowly so that you can read it if you want to later, because my voice is shot. So this lawsuit was originally filed in 2016, and it is just coming to trial now, almost 10 years later. So that's just going to give you an indication of how long the Karen Reed civil case is going to take to get to trial. Lisa Butner, that's the plaintiff's name, Butner, one of the plaintiffs, I think. I think she was the lead plaintiff originally, and I think they added some more plaintiffs. Lisa Butner testified, and she said she believed she was unfairly passed over for a job in the Internal Affairs Division in 2013 because of her race and gender. What's more, she alleged that's part of a pattern involving that unit, which at the time was exclusively staffed by white men. She thought she was more qualified than the men. And so maybe it's a pattern at the MSP. I don't know. I haven't had a chance to dive into it enough, but thank you, Pure Duckery, for sending the information to me. So some of you can fall into that rabbit hole if you so choose. Because, I'm here to help. All right. Thank you very much, my friends, for coming to hang out with me tonight. Thank you to the moderators for keeping it classy. Oh, Emily C's diary. Okay, wait, hold on. Thank you. I promised that to you. See, I do that. And then if I don't have the tab open, I forget. And now, thank you for reminding me, because we should leave on a funny note, right? She did a Cosgrove diary entry the other day. That was really funny. That's what I think I'll do. I think I'll go watch a Diane Keaton movie. Hold on. It's from October 8th of 2025. And this is a diary entry of Robert Cosgrove, which says, and it's like on a stone. It's like chiseled into stone. Wednesday, October 8th, 2025. Dear diary, today I tried everything I could to get access to Karen Reed's cell phones. Nothing we are doing is technically legal, but two pieces of good news on that front. Number one, Judge Krupp is on our team, so we can get away with anything. Number two, all the turtle people and Karen's people are too busy fighting with the rest of the internet people, so there's no one trying to stop us. Wow. XOXO. Robert C. Cosgrove. If you're not following Emily C. SEE on Twitter and YouTube, what are you doing? Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with me today. You're the greatest. I'll see you tomorrow. I'm going to send you to, do you want to go to the Glare, or do you want to go to the Young Jerks, or you want to go to, those are the only two that are live right now that give me the option to redirect. No Drama Mama She says, Mello is coming in with the best YouTube presentations. Thank you very much for your 10. Thank you very much for your 10. You want to go to the Young Jerks? Okay. Those are the first three people that I heard. Mike on the Canton Chronicle. All right. I'm sending you over to the Young Jerks. Say hi to Mike for me, and be good. Don't disrupt. Don't do any disruption. But now you know that also Glare is live. So if you want to go there too, just buckle your seatbelts, and hopefully the redirect will work and you can get on over there. Make sure your notifications are set. Make sure you smash the like button. Make sure you do all the things that YouTube likes, because there's this weird algorithm that apparently is a whole thing out there on the tubes of you. So stay cool, stay kind, stay classy, and go wherever you want. My favorite Diane Keaton movie, Something's Gotta Give. That's my favorite too. That's the one, right? With Jack Nicholson. All right. Peace out, my friends. Love you with all of my heart. Bye.